Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, brought to you by myself, Brendan Maguire, and Anthony Grogan. We're going to be bringing you all the best hunting, fishing and field sports from around the country. Welcome back to the Irish Hunting Podcast on episode 34. On this week's episodes, we will be bringing you the awesome Stevie White. He's going to be talking all about his amazing hunting trip to New Zealand. We will also be bringing you our Let's Talk Gear section. And on this episode, we will be looking at the Infiray Fh35r. Hope you all enjoy. Anthony Grogan, as ever, how are you getting on, lad?
I'm good, Brenny. I'm here fucking tapping away on my phone. Well, we're multitasking, aren't we?
Multitasking, man.
Yeah,
Every woman in the world said it couldn't be done. But
yeah, look at we're proving them all wrong. We're drinking, we're talking into microphones.
Exactly. You're texting away. I've sick going on in my head.
I'm not. This is podcast business, man. This is podcast business.
I never doubted you, not for 1 second, not for a second. What is the crack? I know crackers.
Should look at Devil on, man. We're great weather out there.
Savage, absolutely
savage, isn't it?
Savage weather, man. Yeah. Come here, first and foremost. No, we'll talk about our beer first, man. This stuff, you have come, in fairness, not empty-handed.
No, I came with the Modry, and I knew you'd kind of like this. There's no frills about this stuff. Fucking right up your alley, I think.
Man, absolutely. Just nothing fancy about it.
He was after a tough old day, so I said I'd have to cheer him up with some
do you know
good
something?
Stiff beer.
I'll tell you the gospel truth about this now. I'm not even making this up. So today I was heading to Kilcock, and am I right in saying that, you know that big advertisement sign there on the Enfield side of Kilcock?
Yes.
Am I right in saying there's a big poster for Modry on it?
There could well be, man.
I guarantee there is. You have a look and you go home. And I was literally driving by it today going, do you know something?
That's what a subliminal fucking thing that's in my head. Man, yeah, there you go. Yeah. But you know what that wedding ring, put to good use there and open a couple of them, will you?
Let's fucking do it, man. This is the one good thing about this shop. There we go.
Thank you, man.
There you go, my man.
I don't know how he does it, but he does it. It comes in use for something, I suppose.
Don't even use it. It's the corn on my arm. On my hand. Come here, how'd your meeting go tonight? Sláinte.
Look at yeah. Shall we leave that alone?
Right, okay. Moving swiftly on. So
yeah, as my mother said, if you've nothing good to say, don't say that at all. No, it was grand. Look, it was very informative. It was my first one there. Yeah, look, got to meet a few people. Got to see the mechanics of how things work.
Yeah.
I probably have loads of opinions on different stuff. And I'd say there was a few lads there thinking, look at this little bollocks now coming in here.
You're that fella, yeah.
Yeah, I am that fella, yeah.
Right, okay. There's always one at every meeting, but sorry.
Yeah. But look, it went well, Bernie. Like as I said, picked up the board subsidy for the club, a couple of bits of information pack, and learned a few bits about insurance and stuff like that. So yeah, happy overall. Yourself?
Yeah, good enough, man. Yeah,
well, you've big news.
Well, I have big news.
Yeah.
We're actually might as well announce it. Yeah, I'm now the chairman of our gun club, which is
good cheers. You're the man who's going to put structure in it.
A man I'm the first man in the country to ever put structure in a gun club ever, man.
Good man. Well done, buddy. Well done.
Cheers. So looking forward. That's a bit of a challenge.
No, you'll drive it on, man. You'll drive it on. I know you will.
A few bits and pieces coming up, so we want to work together, myself and Damo and Ross, and get some few bits over the line.
No better buckle, as they say. No better buckle.
We'll drive on. There's a few bits and pieces going on. What else? We have to hoping this weekend to get down to Mayo for a bit of a fish. That's the plan we were talking about last week. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that's what I'm gonna strive to do this week anyway. If I get a chance at all, and see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there now, right? The either the world has gone mad, or basically they've let two of the biggest Egypts in the country in charge.
Don't ask me.
In charge of a heap of lads with a heap of guns.
I know, it's the chase.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought it, lad? Is right. Yeah. Who would have thought it?
No, fair play. No,
yeah, sure. Look,
you've some huge plans. I think. I know you won't be going into it.
No,
just
no. I've got a couple of big plans. All right, so we'll have to drive it on now and see how it goes. Yeah. So yeah.
what were we going to say there? We were going on to some news, were we?
Yeah, we've a bit of new. Yeah, obviously our weekly news slot. So you want to kick it off, or I'll kick it off?
You kick it off there if you can.
Yeah, I kick it off. So I just want to talk about. So there's not actually. It's kind of quiet around the tracks at the minute. Yeah, it is very quiet. Yeah, it's that little bit of a lull. But obviously the Wild Deer Open season dates have been released. I suppose, or announced. I suppose, whatever way you'd like to call it. Nothing really overly specifically major. Species red male 1st of September, the 31st of December. Red female 1st of November, 28th of February. And antlerless deer, of course. Sika again, we're back out. Sika male, 1st September, 31st of December. Females, 1st of November, 28th of February. Fallow male, 1st September to 31st of December. Fallow female, 1st November, 28th February. Munchak all year long if you can get them.
If anyone knows,
I was just going to fucking say it, man. If anyone in the podcast has seen one, photographed one, shot one even, just get in contact and let us know, because I don't know. I have never fucking heard of anyone getting one, so.
Yeah. Me neither.
No.
But it's something that I had heard, like I looked, there's a kind of a map. I don't know whether it's still around, but years ago I used to be able to see a map. Excuse me, that's a bit gassy, that stuff, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it was good gear.
And it used to kind of give the clusters of species, like, so you'd be like, where Sika used to cluster.
Yeah, I remember seeing that map somewhere too, yeah.
And I remember, I'm almost sure, it's like a fucking dream to me that the Munchak were in around leash, sleeve bloom, kind of.
Was it? Okay, okay.
No, I could be completely wrong, but I'm fucking almost sure.
I thought it was down Kerry, Cork. I thought it was down. So, yeah. I honestly, but I know the map you're talking about. I can't remember where I seen it.
Yeah,
but I definitely do remember. Did you do a deer stalking course at some stage years ago at all? No,
no.
I done one actually, but I don't know whether it was on that. I seen it. Yeah, I remember doing one in Tullamore. Yeah. Yeah,
no, that's. Yeah, look, I suppose if anyone knows about that map, it'd be nice. It'd be cool to print it out.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. It'd be deadly. Yeah.
And just before we go on news, right? Mr. Maguire has done a fantastic job on our new studio. So we've 2-seater couch, we've fucking memorabilia over the wall, we've plenty of room. It's deadly, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, she's getting there. We've got, we're going to start doing some live videos and a few more bits and pieces and stuff like that.
We're going to start ramping it up, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep the kids quiet now is the next thing.
Yeah, look, we'll manage that. We're going to have a cool screen up as well, so we can chat with our guests and stuff.
Yes.
Get them in. We can have beer and whiskey and
100%.
chill out and be nice.
We'll get loose.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
So well done to you, man.
Thanks a million. Cheers. Cheers.
Geez, you're getting all the accolades this week. I brought beers. I should have brought a fucking medal.
It's an MBE, do I? United there was stuff.
There'll be none of that stuff around here.
Wrong side of the border for that crack. Yeah.
Now, this is just again, we're refreshing. Top Shot, Offaly Regional Game Council. We've actually been invited down to this, Bernie. Mervyn Briscoe has invited us down for a shot.
Cool.
So thanks to Mervyn. So yeah, it's basically there's some lovely prize money at this. There's we'll start at the start. Shooting competition 28th of May 2023, the Midland Shooting Centre of Ireland, the Blue Ball, Tullamore, County Offaly. Shooters will have to compete with a .22, .223 at 2 different ranges and a shotgun. There's also a 50 bird open sporting clay shoot and a final leg of the Offaly League. And there's a €1,500 prize fund in cash.
Be the Lord.
So no taxman in sight.
No tax, that's what I like to hear.
€500 high gun for the 50 bird.
Savage.
First card 10 a.m, last card 4 p.m. €30 per card for Top Shot competition, 25 for the 50 bird. All rifles and rifle ammunition supplied by MNSCI, and no shotguns supplied in the day. And again, a heap of food. So what more do you want? Guns, food, shooting.
She wouldn't bet that with a big stick, lad.
Oh, with a big stick.
No, with a big stick would you bet? That sounds like the job. We might have to tip down to that. 28th of
May.
So that'll be not this weekend, the following weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, would that be right?
Yeah. Wouldn't mind tipping down to that now.
That'll be good crack.
Yeah.
That would be actually good. That would be right good crack.
I don't think we'll enter into shooting. We're not great at doing shooting.
No, exactly. No, we're good at talking about it.
Good talking about it.
Definitely, yeah. Can't knock us there now, in all fairness.
Absolutely, man. And I think, apart from that, the Predator battle, I know we've given that a couple of spins out. But again, just to rehash, just for everyone to get, it's on in the
Loch Derg,
Loch Derg on September 17, over the 3 days. So, sorry, September the 17th is a team meeting, 18th, 19th and 20th is competition days, and the 21st is September. Like a full week of fishing, man.
Savage.
Sure.
That's class.
You could tell the missus or the husband that you're gone working and arrive home
with a brand new boat.
Brand new boat.
That's it. No.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's what I done this week.
Yeah, it'd be a bit awkward explaining that you're bringing the boat to work, though.
Yeah, and why you can't pay the mortgage that month, but
yeah, exactly. I have a mortgage.
You may have caught the biggest pike in Ireland. The day,
exactly. Fuck it. It'd be worth it.
That's all that matters.
It'd be worth it in the long run, lad. You'll be paying the mortgage the rest of your life. Sure.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, definitely head over to Facebook and you see the Predator Battle pages on there, and you'll see some of the prizes and stuff that's up and running. And I think their kind of spots are running thin at the ground, like, so it's
I'd well imagine, because it's
a limited number.
Yeah, and that's a huge deal, man. That's a serious deal. So
yeah,
get on it.
Get stuck into it, as the fella says. Yeah, absolutely.
That concludes our new slot.
That is our new slot. Over and out, boys. We are getting better at this. I don't care what anyone says.
Wait till you hear the new jingle, lads.
Oh, boys. Wait till you hear this now. It only took me about 9 hours to do it last night. They'll be actually come in and say, you going to stop anytime shortly? I was like, yeah. Just one more.
You're the editing master now, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, exactly. If anyone has some good editing gear, I want to get rid of this thing next. I don't like this. This is shit.
This is your nemesis, man.
This is my nemesis. This mixing unit, man. Can we... Oh, I have a savage idea. We're shooting it. 100%. That's what we're doing.
When
we get a new one, we're shooting this,
and we just have to make sure that the new one works. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I detest that, man. Yeah. That thing has
been the bane of my existence since I came into this house. So yeah, I'm definitely going to shoot that. I'll look forward to that.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. More on that coming up shortly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing else. Have you anything else planned this week yourself? This weekend?
Club AGM tomorrow night.
Oh, very good, is it?
And yeah, like in all true good form, I set it out early last week, the agenda this week, and then I get a text tonight. Oh, maybe 8 o'clock to suit everyone. So, yeah, sure. Look, we'll just change the time.
Whatever suits you.
Yeah, sure. Look it.
Yeah.
I'm easy, like, you know.
You'll be sitting home anyway, sure.
Yeah, doing nothing. As my father says, do nothing. And I'm not bitter at all.
Not one bit.
So yeah, that's tomorrow night. So yeah, we're giving a special presentation to one of the guys in the club. Actually, John in JD Pens. We commissioned a lovely bespoke pen with a plaque on the case. So yeah, savage. He done a fantastic job as always. So yeah, I think I have pictures up on Insta there. I think he tagged me on the picture, or us in the picture.
Brilliant.
So yeah, we're giving that presentation tomorrow night, running through our kind of breeding program. That's been up and down. So we've had varying levels of success. We've loads of mallard actually hatching.
Have you? It's brilliant.
Yeah. And the pheasants have been a little bit trickier now. Mm-hmm. The Banty got off the first set just when we thought we were getting ready to hatch. So the first set were out. Then we had a rogue hen or a cock that took a liking to the eggs and was
the
breaking. So yeah, we've Shane O'Neill again has come in trumps. He's getting me up some eggs to fill the incubator, and we're actually starting to collect eggs again. So we should have kind of two modes of two roads running for us, or two horses running for us in the one race. So yeah,
brilliant.
We'll just keep at it.
Happy days, man. Yeah, come on, Shane. Fair play to you.
Yeah, look, he's the. He actually said. He sent me a text today in true Shane form. You'll notice, fill an egg with take an egg, put a hole in it, take it out, take out the stuff, fill it full of mustard, the good mustard now, the Coleman's one. He said,
"Oh Jesus Christ!"
And he said, "I'll take the water out of the pen as well. That'll fucking sort them out."
Oh, holy Jesus Christ.
You can imagine a poor old cock running around after eating an egg full of mustard.
A mouthful of Jesus mustard. Oh, be the Lord Jesus Christ.
But he won't go near eggs anymore.
No, and that's what I was starting. I can attest to it. It works. Funny story, a little quick story for you. When I was about 3, my brother and sister thought it'd be hilarious to get me a tablespoon of Coleman's mustard, man. And in it went at 3 years of age, I'd say. 3, maybe 4 years of age. So that was it.
That to a 3-year-old is like wasabi to a 20-year-old. You know?
Absolutely, man. So needless to say, I never went back near it.
Do you like wasabi?
No, well, not really, no.
You don't like mustard either?
I do a little bit, a very, very small
Yeah.
amount of it, yeah. A very, very small amount of it,
Oh,
yeah.
geez,
Yeah.
a cold winter's day now, a ham sandwich now. A bit
Yeah,
of
toasted ham sandwich, a bit of mustard, yeah, it isn't. It's not bad, alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised I have any taste buds left, to be honest with you, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah, the bastards.
a tear to a
Yeah.
glass eye.
Never forgive them for it. Never forgot either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's the story. I suppose we're about to bring this interview, will we?
We'll bring this interview. I can't wait for this one, man.
Can't wait, man. It's going to be brilliant. I've
Yeah.
all my questions lined up in my head.
Yep. And that look at stay tuned. You're just about to hear they go out the window in true IHP fashion.
Exactly. No, we haven't. She'll be to a T.
She'll be to a
so
T.
Yeah. We'll be back with our interview with the one and only Stevie White. I can't believe I'm finally getting to say it. Stevie Chalky White, welcome along to the Irish Hunting Podcast. How are you keeping?
Stevie.
All good, lads. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, just
Sláinte, man.
great to have you, Sláinte. We're still on the Modry. It's good old stuff. It's going down a treat.
It's not bad, actually, is it?
No, but the better it gets, the second one is nearly nicer than the first one.
Yeah, honest to God, lad. Yeah, you staying here tonight or what?
Maybe so. If I get an invite.
Yeah, no bother. Watch out with the dog. Stevie, come here. We're after having a bit of a chat here before we went on about your trip to New Zealand, which by all accounts just seems unbelievable.
You couldn't write it.
Nah, it was savage, lads.
Yeah.
Savage. Like, you know, if you plan something,
Yeah.
you couldn't have planned this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just class.
Unbelievable.
You even said
yeah.
there, I think beforehand, you were saying it got off to a rocky start with the back injury and
Yeah.
the flight getting cancelled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It nearly didn't happen.
No, so a year started at the beginning, I suppose. You know, your mate of mine down there, Tim, has been asking me to go for years. You know, and like I was saying to you, you know, you're starting out in life, you're getting married, you're getting a house, kids come along, you just don't have the money, and then, you know, in fairness to my wife Claire, shout out to her, like
Legend, absolutely.
Legend.
Deborah Avril, take note.
Are you listening? and
not
Claire,
too much now.
just give a hint there now as well. Claire actually bought the ticket as well.
She did, yeah. So, like I was saying, about 2 years ago, Claire said, "Listen, you better go before you're not able to. You're getting old, you know." Claire's 5 and a bit years younger than me, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
she likes reminding me how old I'm getting, but no, in fairness to her, she bought a ticket, you know, and said, right.
Well, she either really loves you, man, or she wants to get fucking rid of you really quick. One or the other.
Well, she sent me
that
away,
ticket.
she sent me away for a month, like, you know what I mean? So I was like, you wouldn't know what's...
Yeah.
On some of the most treacherous terrain in the world, I will add.
I'm well insured, maybe that was the...
That's what it was, yeah.
But, so then everything was planned, tickets was bought. I ended up having back surgery in November, which put me on the flat of my back for 6 weeks. And in fairness to the surgeon and the physio, so Michael Keller was the surgeon, and he made a plan, a physiotherapy plan, and the physio I knew was Rob McCabe, ran me through it literally up until 2 or 3 days before I went.
Fucking hell.
Some going.
It went from not being able to walk, like on a walking stick, to carrying a pack across the hills in New Zealand, you know, so
Some
it
going.
was class.
It was just meant to be, man. Just meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So come here, talk us through it, right? So you get an idea, you go, I want to go to New Zealand. I want to hunt.
Yeah, so I suppose I was lucky in that a friend of mine was out there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like I was saying to you, Tim was always saying to me, come on, right? So then we had to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to hunt? So he lives in the North Island.
Yeah.
There's good populations of fallow and red on the North Island. So he said, okay, we're going to chase them. We might as well do it in the rut. So he planned the dates. So 28th of March to the 26th of April. So we were there for the red rut and the fallow rut.
Yeah.
And then we went down the South Island to chasing Thar and Chamois. And just like we were saying, just a savage trip. So went, like, landed, took the hunting gear out of the bag. The next morning we were
Hunting.
We were out, we were gone, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Just on that, Stevie, you brought your own gun over.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
talk us through, because like we've been talking about starting to plan our journey as well. What do we need to start? Where do you start?
Yeah. So you have to get a permit to import your firearm into New Zealand. So you go onto the New Zealand police website.
Yep.
And you fill out an application form, right? So you're going to need a copy of your Irish passport. You're going to need an up-to-date photograph of yourself, but you can take it online, you know, while you're doing the application.
Okay.
You need a copy of your Irish firearms pass. You need a copy of your Irish hunting license, and you need a letter of invitation from a firearms holder in New Zealand. Now, I suppose if you were going on a guided hunt, that would be the guide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just saying, you know, Stevie White or Anto Grogan or Brendan Maguire are coming to hunt with me, and this is my address, and I have secure storage for their firearms. So like a gun safe, you know.
Yes.
So you throw that in. It has to be done at least 4 months in advance.
Okay.
I would say put it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Just to give them a run. When I was coming up to it, I had it in time, but then they had the cyclone, and it wiped out like communications and roads across the North Island and everything for days. You know, my mate Tim was sending me messages on InReach, you know, which is the global positioning system, because all their phones were down, everything was down, you know. So you send that on. It's $25 New Zealand dollars, which is about €18.
Yeah.
And they'll send you back a notification saying, you're approved to import it into the country, and when you arrive there, you report. They have a New Zealand police office in the arrivals hall.
Okay.
So you go over to them. Your carrier will have given them the gun.
Okay.
And they get a copy of your passport. They print off your firearms pass then, which has everything on it, and they check your firearm, that the details that you've supplied are the details that's on the
Very good.
The gun. Now, you also have to pass a theory test on their website before you apply. I forgot about that. But anyone that's been shooting any length of time, you'd pass it. But they give you things to study and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then before you go, you have to tell your airline that you're carrying it. So I flew with Emirates, and they have a form on their website. They're obviously well used to carrying firearms.
Yes.
You fill it in. So it's, you know, make, model, caliber, serial number, and the quantity of ammunition that you want to bring. So you're allowed to carry 5 kilos of ammunition.
5 kilos?
5 kilos, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So I brought 2 boxes. I brought 40 rounds with me, and it was like 1.2 kilos or something.
Okay.
Arrived in Dublin Airport.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, it must feel a bit odd, like walking into Dublin Airport with your gun in it. Do you know what I mean?
It does. It does. You know, like they were pushing a trolley, and I have a backpack and a gun case in it. You know,
and people kind of having a quick peek.
There was loads of people looking at it. You know, but went in and went up to check in, and because you told them they were coming, obviously they knew you were coming with a firearm, so they just check you in there, give you your boarding pass, and then walk you around to the oversized luggage, and they check the firearm there. Okay, that's the one you said you're bringing, and your ammunition has to be in a separate bag than the firearm is in. So I travelled with a hard case.
Yeah,
the gun was in that, and like an old cash box.
Yeah.
So I bought one of them, whatever it was, like €15. Put the 40 rounds in it, locked it, put it in my backpack, and they took it out and they went, okay, that's lockable. Put it back in.
That was it.
That was in. The next time I saw it was getting off the plane in Auckland.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
And then I had to catch an internal flight. So if anyone is catching an internal flight, if they're doing it, New Zealand authorities want you to take the bolt out of your rifle.
I was just going to ask that.
And put it in a different bag. Now, it wasn't mandatory leaving Dublin. So when I got the gun off the police officer, I had to walk between terminals, so the international terminal to the internal one. And when I checked in, they said, "Is the bolt out of your rifle?" And I went, "No." Can you take it out, please? And I'm going, "Here, yeah." So in the middle, I'm going, "Okay, this is not I'm not about to take this out."
Yeah.
So opened all the locks, took out the bolt, put it in the other one. grand. And actually, the next guy in the queue behind me, a Kiwi, said, "You going hunting?" I went, "Yeah." You know, and he goes, "Where are you going?" And I told him, he said, "I was down there 3 weeks ago. There's loads of tar down there." I went, "Happy days."
Deadly.
That'll do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
class.
So, yeah, but the I suppose that's the only snag. Well, it's not a snag, but
Be aware of it.
if you took the bolt out in Ireland, you wouldn't have to open a gun case in the middle of an international airport. You know,
yeah, true. Yeah.
and I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
One to note, yeah. And just on that, you're saying 270.
Yeah, 270. I was shooting a 130 grain bullet. It's very accurate out of my gun. You know what I mean? If I was going again for the tar, right, they just soak up the lead, like they just soak it up. If I was going again, I'd use. So the bullet I'm using now goes about 2,870 feet per second.
Okay.
I'd probably go up like 140 grain Hornady Super Performance. I'd probably use because they're traveling about 3,100.
Yeah.
And they're just going to hit so much harder. Like
definitely. Yeah.
Just for that type of animal.
Yeah, because they just soak up the lead. Like
Yeah. Well, you were saying when I know we'll get onto it, but the hide is so thick, obviously because of the terrain and the altitude that a lot of them perform in. They have to have a
like when it was, when they were caped out, like the hide was a good half-inch thick, like
isn't it?
That's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, that is
you were
unreal.
saying like these like they look like it's like from the only experienced eye, they look like a big goat, but you were saying 150 kilos, like
we reckon about 150 kilos in weight, like just
pure rock solid muscle.
Solid. Just solid. Couldn't get over how big they were, like just
brilliant
monsters of things,
Yeah.
So then you land your kit. You have huge, not huge, but a vast array of implements that you brought on the kit. What would be the essentials, I suppose, and what would you change in that?
Right. You need a really good tent, right? You need a really good sleeping bag, and you need a really good sleeping mat, because the tent is going to keep you out of the elements. The sleeping bag is going to keep you warm at night, and the sleeping mat is going to keep you off the ground and keep you warm. So the list that I'll give out is what I brought. I'm not saying you can't do it with anything else. This is just what I brought, But what I will say is, before I left, Tim says to me, "It's okay, you don't have to buy an ice axe. I have one here for you." And I was going, "I don't want an ice axe. I'm not going anywhere near ice. Like, I'm bringing trekking poles, And he was going, yeah. But when I got there, like the terrain is so steep. Like going up, you're using it to, steady yourself going up, and in parts you're burying it in the ground to pull yourself up, and going down you're burying it in the ground to
stop yourself from
sliding off a mountain.
Or the animal, as we've seen in some of the pictures.
Yeah.
But if you're going and you're going to hunt the Southern Alps, an ice axe, a 900mm ice axe, you can use it as a walking stick. And I literally wouldn't step foot in that place without it. It was actually, I got so attached to my ice axe. Tim gave it to me coming home. I have it at home. When I get the animals home, I'm going to put up a little display, and it's going to be in it.
That is deadly.
Deadly.
So,
deadly.
That'd be the first thing that I pack. Like,
yes,
even before the rifle.
Just on that, Steve, like there's nights. Obviously, we were talking about the tent and stuff, and this is kind of. I was thinking coming in, was there ever a fucking night that you said, like, "Jeez, what am I doing here, man? It's fucking, wind howling, or I should have brought fucking something, or do you know what I mean?"
No, we were very lucky. Like, got very cold at night, right? Because of the altitude we were at. We were at like 2,000 meters, so 6,000 feet. And as soon as the sun went down, the temperature just dropped. You get up in the morning, a bit of ice on or frost on the outside of the tent. But we were very lucky in that we didn't have like really, really strong winds or anything like that. So the tents that we had were great. Perfect. And they were Kuyu tents. So the gear that I brought with me was Kuyu. And, I collected it over the 2 years beforehand. You know, like the Kuyu do sales all the time. But they do two big ones a year, where you get 40% off. So that's where I bought them.
Picked them up there.
You know, picked them up there. But like, I brought a down sleeping bag, so that was by Thermarest, and that is comfortable down to -6, and it was in the minuses some nights. Do you know what I mean? So they're quite warm. Bought a sleeping bag liner, and a good sleeping mat, a Thermarest Neo Air, which has like, if you know the foil blankets you're wrapping someone if they get cold, it's stitched into it, so it's reflecting the heat back into you all the time.
Okay.
And it was so warm on some occasions, just got into the sleeping bag liner, lay on the sleeping mat, and use the sleeping bag like a quilt. You know what I mean? So I suppose it's better to be a little bit warm than a little bit cold.
You can always shed a layer, but when you're fucking cold, I did an inflatable pillow. Tim used like just a camping pillow. And I suppose, like, thinking of it, if I got a puncture in mine, now I had a repair kit, but you know, maybe his is a better one. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about that. Like,
I think it's essential as well, just in that, like with the doing the trekking you're doing, like if you're not getting
good night's sleep,
fucking sleep, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're only waking up kind of saying, I got a good night's sleep there, I'm ready to kick ass again, you know.
And the tent is a 2-person tent, but only one person is in it, because you have to get all your gear in it. You know what I mean? So like, you get into it, you have your backpack in it, you have your rifle in it, you know, you have your boots in it, so they're not freezing outside and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very good.
So if you're going, like, you can bring a 1-person tent, but most of your gear will be left outside and it'll freeze. You know what I mean? Then layers. So you'd want a 5-layering system. So I had a merino base layer, and then I had a synthetic long sleeve outer layer. And if I was going again, I'd bring one with a hood, because during the day we were up so high, the sun was scorching at times. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you had a hood, it'd keep the sun off you. You know what I mean? Stop you getting
top
sunburned.
Of your ears and the back of your neck and stuff. Yeah.
Then I had a vest. So it's the Kuyu DS Guide vest is what it was. So in the mornings, I put on those 2 layers, then put on the vest. So that's 3 layers. You'd start walking. Once it got warm, once the sun came up, you take off the vest, stick it in your bag, and you'd hunt the rest of the day in the 2 layers, you know. Trousers was the Kuyu attack pant. Brilliant. Only brought 1 of them. So I brought 2 base layers and 2 synthetic outer layers. Brought 1 pant. Absolutely brilliant. Really comfortable, really hard wearing, like you're scrambling across rocks. You're going through forests. It never missed a beat, like, not a beat. Then I had a puffer jacket. You know what I mean? So like a warm jacket. Now you can get down ones and you can get synthetic ones. So I brought a synthetic one, because even if they get really wet, they'll offer you some warmth.
Yes.
Whereas if a down one got really wet, all the down clumps, and you're not getting the warmth out of it.
The heat retention,
100%, yeah.
And then I brought a full set of wet gear, so a jacket and a pants.
Stuff,
Even though, like, we didn't get that much rain, even in the evenings when you're sitting out eating your dinner and the sun has gone down, you'd put on all those layers and the wet gear, because the wind would be coming across, and, you know, to keep the wind off you.
It's a windbreaker,
and it keeps the heat in you.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
I noticed on Instagram your boots, man. You swear by these boots.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Untethered and Wanderwise, where adventure has no age limit. We're your co-host, Heidi Brandis and Nikki Mahundro, and we're here to inspire and celebrate women over 45 who are embracing their independence and want to explore the world on their own terms.
Yeah, so I picked them up to break in as soon as we said, okay, the trip is going to happen. I messaged him and said, what do you reckon? He said, get these ones. So they're Crispy Nevada Legend, they're called. I said, only an ankle boot. They have a full rubber band all the way around them, which stops the abrasion. But they have an ankle bone support system, they call it, right? So they're a little bit rigid around your ankles, so they can give you a bit of support, stop you going over on your ankle and stuff like that.
You fucking need that on some of that terrain, I'd say.
If Rob Tracy's listening now, man, these are the boots he needs, because that man has no ankles. You know what I mean?
There you go. You're literally cutting the boots out
Yeah.
from underneath again. Sorry, yeah.
Delighted I got that one in. I couldn't figure out what way I was going to get in.
But yeah, they were class. Like,
Deadly.
so I was wearing them, I suppose, 18 months before I went, and I was doing a lot of training before I got hurt. So, started off with 10 kilos in the pack, just started walking and worked up to a point where I could have like 30 kilos in the pack and do 20k. You know what I mean? And you're kind of carrying more than you need to, and you're doing probably more distance than you will, but that just means you're comfortable when you get there.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, those boots were class. I'd recommend them to anyone, And
you mentioned that, Stevie, just on that note there, like the fitness element, right? Like you were doing, as you say, 30k or 20k with 30 kilos on your back. When you got over there, was that enough, do you think? Were you ever at a point where you saying, oh, jeez, man, I fucking have to take a knee here. I can't.
So obviously, look, anyone who's listened to here has probably been to Wicklow. You've seen the Wicklow Mountains.
Yeah.
They're not compared to what's on the South Island in New Zealand. Like, the scale of the place would take you back.
Yeah.
And we all know Wicklow, and it's kind of nice, gentle, rolling hills. These things just go straight up, just straight up. I showed you a picture there, where at one time we were side hilling across from left to right. My left boot was on the ground, and my left hand was on the ground at the same time, and I was standing up straight. You know what I mean? So it's just absolutely the steepest terrain I've ever been in.
And even if you think it's steep, you think again, it's steeper again.
Yeah.
And I was saying it to Tim, like, I felt uncomfortable for a day or two there. Like I couldn't explain it. It's like my body felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, I don't know if I should be here,
Yeah, you're out of your habitat.
Yeah, well, you would, you notice that yourself if you're up somewhere. I haven't been up on major, but I've climbed a few fairly, mountainous ranges in Australia and a few places, and I get what you're saying. There's parts you nearly get almost panicky for a minute. You nearly fucking freeze.
Strange.
Yeah,
no,
definitely. But there's where I'd say there's probably nothing in Ireland that could prepare you for the steepness of the mountains over there. Obviously, the more you do, the easier it'll be when you get there. Now, I wasn't as comfortable as I wanted to be because of the back surgery. Put me out for like 3 months before I left.
Yeah, completely wrong timing.
Yeah. But the other thing is, it's not a sprint.
Yeah,
you're not. You're, there are times when you have to move quickly and move as fast as you can, but that's not all day.
Yeah,
you're going at what pace you can handle. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I would say, look, put in as much training as you can.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a slim, athlete or anything like that.
I speak for yourself over there.
Sorry, Bernie.
But it's what do you call it? The more you do, the more comfortable you be. I suppose. Look, we all have busy lives, and it's taking that time. Away from your family or whatever else that you need,
But again, look, I think it's going to stand to you. It's like if you're going over there, it is a trip of a lifetime. There's no getting away with it. So if you're going to go to the time, the expense, and the effort, a couple of months of bit of endurance work. I think. Look, we're even saying it this year, like because things are so busy, and we're trying to plan for the upcoming season here. Never mind New Zealand. Because it's nice to be able to push for a couple of weeks. When you need to,
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah,
and it's nice to be comfortable on the hill. That you're not trying to suck air in.
Yeah,
looking at your feet. That you're just looking out in front of you and just enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's all I wanted. That when I got there, I could enjoy it.
Yeah.
That I could just look around and take in everything.
You're in one of the most fucking beautiful places on the planet. You know what I mean? The worst thing you could be is fucking gasping for air and looking down.
Wondering, am I going to have a heart attack or a stroke here? What the fuck's going to happen? Yeah.
But a good pair of gaiters. As good as the boots are, a good pair of gaiters, because like you're walking across scree slides. You're walking across thick brush. So you know, you want, obviously you don't want anything getting into your boot which could cause a blister or anything like that. So a good pair of gaiters. I used Peaks gaiters. They were great. And you know, you want a baseball cap to keep the sun out of your eyes during the day. You want a warm woolly hat to keep you warm in the evenings when the temperature goes down, you know. A water bladder in your pack so you can, you know, keep taking water all day. A water bottle for gathering water, you know, for cooking and stuff like that. When we're talking about cooking, I use the jet boil.
Yeah, talk us through that, Stevie, just for people who don't know.
So jet boil works off a gas canister, so it's like a little stove. So you screw on a gas canister, you light it, you have a cup which you fill with water, put it on top of it, it boils, and we were using dehydrated meals. So you just pour the water into the dehydrated meal, give it a stir, seal it up, come back in 10 or 15 minutes later and you have
your grub,
whatever it is, you know, whatever mush.
Yummy.
Like we were, so it was porridge for breakfast, you know, so poured the water in and it was porridge and it was all right, you know.
Sustenance.
Dinner, you know, was so-called, you know, risotto or something like that. It was like porridge, you know. During the day then what we did is we brought a stick of salami, a block of cheese and some crackers, and we just sit down on wherever we were, boil a jet boil, make a coffee.
Now that sounds like fucking heaven.
Yeah, that's fucking class.
And you can just sit there like you could see for 50 miles maybe, you know, over the top of a mountain, and there's just nothing except wilderness. Like,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's probably, well, I haven't been to Alaska, I haven't been to Canada, anywhere like that. But it's probably one of the last wildernesses. Like,
yeah,
you know? And
absolutely.
it was just like you could walk for days.
Yeah.
Like we were like on the South Island in the mountains, we were there for like 12 days or whatever it was. Never saw a person.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. Like,
that's deadly.
We were saying, we had Hunting Steph on obviously last week, and we were saying, like, you know, like she was saying she went up to Sweden on her own 2 nights, and obviously you weren't on your own, but 2 guys out, and you were on a lot of alone time, a lot of time to think and stuff like that. Are you comfortable in that type of environment on your own skin?
Yeah. That wouldn't.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's a common denominator between hunters, anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't need lots of distraction. You know.
No.
You're after walking up and down them hills all day. As soon as you hit that bag, you're gone.
Game over.
Lights out. Yeah.
And I mean, it's dark at 6 o'clock, so we'd have a bit of grub. You'd be in the bag by 7:30. You'd be asleep. You'd be up at 5, getting ready, getting to breakfast and getting ready to go. You know.
See, that has me fucking like really looking forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Every aspect of that.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that I
no
don't
phones,
like.
No distractions, no fucking. You're tired, actually, proper tired from not from this fucking phone or laptops or taking photos. You know what I mean? You're tired from what we were born to do, I think.
Yeah.
But actually now, just that you mentioned phones, so that the one thing that I would advise people to bring as well is some sort of satellite device. So I brought a Garmin InReach with me, right? So what it does, it gives your location exactly. So it works off the Iridium satellite system, and it gives your location exactly any place in the earth once it has a signal from the satellite. But also what it does is you download an app onto your phone and it links via Bluetooth. So obviously, you know, you put it on airplane mode, you put it on low battery mode, and you know, you get 10 days out of your battery. But what I would do, you know, when we got back in the evenings, is just send Claire a message going, we're back, everything's all right. You know, hitting the bed now. I'll send you a message when we get up. I'd get up. I'll go, okay, we're up. We're going again. You know.
Okay.
And she's there on the other side. Oh, he's fucking coming back.
Stop annoying me with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
try harder.
Yeah. But the main feature that you're buying it for, right, is it has an SOS button on it, and you press that, and it launches the emergency services in any country that you're in the world.
Very good.
You know, a mountain rescue team or a helicopter or boat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's a subscription service, so you have to buy their device, and there's different levels of subscription. So it goes from like €14 a month to €50 a month.
Okay.
You know,
but you're only paying it. Can you just start it when you want to go, or do you just pay it all?
Yeah. No. So you go, like, you can go, okay, I'm going for a month. So I got the €50 one for a month because it was unlimited text messages. You can also get the weather on it. So
Brilliant.
they send the weather to it. It comes up on your phone. So like on the last hunt, we were supposed to hunt, I think it was Thursday to Tuesday. But there was a big storm coming in. We got the notification on the weather. There was a big storm coming in on Monday afternoon. And we were able to get out of there on Monday morning. We could have been stuck there for, another 3 or 4 days waiting for a storm to blow through or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking for the $14.99 to send a horse and cart looking for you. They've paid £50 to sell a heli.
Okay, exactly. Yeah.
And come here, that device then, how much is it to purchase that device then, roughly?
That one is £400.
£400.
£400, yeah.
But
Well worth it.
you think of it like if you fall, hurt yourself.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Nobody can get to you. Like, let's say I fell, Tim couldn't get down to me. I had a broken leg or something like that. You just press that button.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest £50 you'll ever spend. Like.
Yeah, exactly. And there's fucking there's worse things, and I don't mean this, but if you were to fall and kaput, but if you break an ankle out there, and you've no
stuck out there, you're fucked.
Fuck that,
Definitely. Yeah. Just on that, I could get one of the companies I worked for when I was out in Australia. We used to do the most. I like that, similar to that. I'd be in the ute for 4 days driving out into the middle of the fucking Simpson Desert to get to a machine. Nobody else around, not a fucking thing, and you had a satellite phone, which never fucking worked. And then there was in the ute there was this red button, and it was a panic button. And when we're like, if you ever get into any major bother now, if you're incapacitated or whatever, hit that button. Same story, GPS, fucking this, that, and the whole job. I was like, all right, grand.
Homer Simpson, press the third button.
No, he's driving along looking at it going, I wonder what. No, but I was doing a job on the fucking on the ute one. I think it was wired in a radio or something. I took off the panel, and the fucking button wasn't even connected to anything. So I swear that is no word like that. I took off the panel, I was putting in wires or something, and there was the button, and nothing in the back of the dog.
Jesus Christ.
So just before you died, you'd have a little bit of hope going, they're underway. Anyway, sorry, getting back to your story.
Very good.
Where were we? Yeah. So a good pair of cold weather gloves.
Yeah.
For like I was saying to you, once the sun leaves the valley you're in, or the sun goes down, the temperature just drops. So
plummet.
And we're a big change in the weather. So 20 degrees there one day, sun went down -5.
Holy shit.
You know what I mean? So
you
have to be.
You need to be 4 seasons really.
It was savage. A foil blanket, just in case you do end up getting wet somewhere, getting slightly hypothermic.
Yeah.
So you'd want one of them in your bag. A good medical kit. You'd want, what do you call it? You'd want antibiotics. I got a bite in the hand off an insect. It happened to get scratched on something, a piece of bush or something like that, and got infected. And I just had the antibiotics there. Took them. You want Imodium, that if you get a dose, you can stop it.
Yes.
Antiseptic cream, stitches, that if it, what do you call it? If you get a cut, you can put it on it. What else did I bring in it? A needle and thread, not to sew up yourself, but your gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That if you ripped something, painkillers.
Yeah.
So throw a few Salfarine in and stuff like that. You have to try and kind of think of what could happen to you.
Yeah, the worst. And work back from there.
Worst case scenarios. Yeah.
But a good what do you call it, medical kit. I was saying to you, I ended up taking the antibiotics, antihistamine, whatever type of pollen was on what they call monkey scrub, I think it was, right? You put your hand in it to grab a handful of it, and you just go, there'd just be a cloud of pollen coming off it, right? And you get down there in the evenings, you wouldn't be able to breathe or anything. An antihistamine, just stop that.
Of course, it's pollen that's foreign to you anyway, so you're not acclimatized with it.
Yeah.
What else now?
Yeah, obviously, you I suppose that aside from the gear, you were saying obviously you brought, it's a blazer you use as a blazer, good set of binos.
Yeah. So I have the Blazer R8, the ultimate success, right, in 270. I was saying to you, probably using a bit of light round out there. Really, it handled the red, it handled the fallow, it handled the chamois, no problem at all.
Yeah.
130 grain. It didn't do as well on the Thar as I was expecting. Very accurate. I hit him where I aimed.
Yeah.
I'd probably go 140. I've a Swarovski scope on it, and I have a pair of Leica rangefinder binos.
Okay.
Just on that, it's very, very steep terrain. So if lads were thinking about going, you'd want to be practicing shooting out to 300 meters, 45-degree angles up and down.
Yeah.
There is a way of calculating the true ballistic range.
Yeah.
I can't remember it off the top of my head, but the binos do it. My binos do it for me. So when I ranged the Thar that I ended up shooting, it was 370 meters, but the true ballistic range to him was 310.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you'd have dialed in 370 and take a shot, you would have missed him.
You would have missed him, yeah.
You know, so that's how steep the terrain is. It's affecting your shooting range and everything. You know what I mean? So either learn how to calculate it really well yourself, or if you have, you know, a set of binos that do it. And I mean, I think any of the range finding binos now, I think, kind of have it in them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I'd, like myself and Robbie were practicing doing a bit of shooting. Shooting out to 500, you know, you're hitting the target, you're comfortable enough. The furthest I shot on the trip was 400. But if you're practicing the 5 and you're shooting at 4,
you get nice and comfy.
You know, you're comfortable enough. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's 400 is not really a big deal anyway.
Oh, jeez, you hear this?
A chip shot, is it?
100 yards is a big deal to you. You can do stuff.
But
400.
He's raging now because I could take that one off straight away.
They're doing that with the 2-2 down in Tullamore. Will you go away with that?
Oh, fuck.
But the last thing would be in the evenings when you go back to camp is, you know, try and get the boots off.
Yep.
Get a dry pair of socks on, bit of foot powder.
Yeah.
You know, just to dry out your feet. And either bring a pair of Crocs.
Okay.
So you can walk around camp in the evenings. Or
you can take that one, all right.
Yeah.
Have them.
Or Tim had a pair of these down booties. So they were like, I don't know, I suppose the nearest thing you could call them is Uggs, you know, that kind of way.
Moccasins, isn't that what they call them?
But the bottom of them was rubber, it was waterproof. Like it had a waterproof sole on it, but the whole upper was down filled, you know what I mean? And they're waterproof. So you could walk around camp.
Very good.
And, you know, and it's just get your feet out of the boots, let them breathe, let them dry.
Yeah.
Let your boots kind of dry out as much as they're going to.
Yeah.
And just be comfortable walking around camp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, that was kind of...
So when you do have downtime, you want to be comfortable. You want to be take that chance to kind of get out of the uncomfortable stuff and throw back the shoulders for an hour or two.
Yeah. And the last thing Tim was saying to me to tell people is throw in a high-vis jacket so that the search and rescue team can find your body when you slip off the mountain.
Yeah, I was you said that there was a picture.
Jesus.
Fucking
hell.
hell.
Man wearing high-vis. Yeah, that must definitely play in your mind when you're packing that.
I was saying to you, like, I felt uncomfortable. It was extremely steep. And, you know, there's parts of it that if you slipped, you were gone.
Yeah.
You were walking across knife edge ridges that went, you know, 6 inches wide, and there was, you know, a couple of 100 feet drop either side of it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you slipped, you're gone, like, you know.
Fuck
yeah, and that puts it in perspective, doesn't it? But the high vis, I mean, as mad as that is, somebody handed that to you now, and this is so. You'd be doing some fucking looking.
First question is asked, what's this for?
Yeah.
No, it was like the ice axe. You know, when he said, I have an ice axe for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I don't want an ice axe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what would I want that for? Yeah.
I'd nearly marry it now. Like, you know what I mean?
Serious?
Yeah.
I was my best friend up there.
Couldn't do without it.
You're walking up, and obviously they're designed. You know, the people who use them know what they're designing them for. But you're walking up, and even the little spike on the bottom, so you're using it as a walking stick. But it's gripping stones. Like, you only have to put it on, and it's gripping. Like, it never slipped once. You know what I mean? And some of the terrain was steep where you'd actually bury it in the hill, pull yourself up a bit, pull it out of the hill,
go again,
bury it in again, and pull yourself up, and then coming down. bury it in the hill. Let yourself down a bit, take it up,
Very
bury it
good.
in the hill. And also, actually, if lads are going, like I said, I'd recommend buying one, but then also learn how to do a self-arrest. So if you do slip, so always have it, there's a cord, always have it around your wrist. And a self-arrest then would be like, as you're slipping down, to bury it in the hill, or, you know, get it onto you and dig it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that it stops you sliding down the hill.
Stops you sliding down the hill.
Yeah.
It's the man, like, I had heard, like, obviously Robbie told me you were going, like, before you went. And I had a vision, like, in New Zealand, yeah, that'd be, like, nice terrain. Like, similar, like, in my mind now, right? Like a fucking nice Wicklow, you know, with, like, obviously I seen pictures of mountains and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of semi-forestry and stuff like that. But I had, you know, visions in my head, like, of nice kind of greeny pasture. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing too
100%.
like. Would you? There's pictures there, like they're like fucking the Himalayas there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like the tar is from Nepal.
there, yeah.
It's Himalayan tar. You know,
Yeah.
that's where they live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they're nicely at home there.
yeah.
You know.
Walk in the park for them there.
Yeah.
Fucking mad,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And come here, just you obviously you had a good bit of success on some of the fallow. Like you were showing us pictures of some of the fallow. They're just
It was savage. So like the first morning we went out at daybreak glassing, and the fallow rut was on, and they were croaking. And where we were hunting was open hillside with like copses of trees, and they were in the trees, and you could hear them. And we were going, right. I wouldn't know, but Tim went, that sounds like a good one. You know what I mean? He'd had the experience. And so we were going down, and his young lad Pete was there with us. And actually, Tim said to him, you know, he's teaching the young lad how to hunt. And right, what will we do? And he said, okay, well, I'd go down this way and, you know, try and come around the edge and see if we can get him. So he said, all right, sure, look, we'll go with your plan, you know. And we were going down, and the wind changed and blew our scent into the copse of trees. And just lucky, instead of like running away, instead of just bursting out of there, he ran out and stopped 60 metres right in front of us. And looked at me straight on. I just put the crosshairs on him and dropped him. You know, didn't have time to think, didn't have time to really look at his
Second guess.
antlers. You know, Tim went, "That's a good one, shoot him."
Yeah.
You know? And I was trying to get steady, and he was going, "Shoot him."
Yeah. Now
I was like, and you know, then it was like, "Will you shoot him?" And then
that's the
bang,
fucking
you know,
worst thing that somebody can say
Worst,
to you when
yeah,
you were trying to get steady.
yeah.
But went down then, and you know, I've only shot, you know, Sika and you know, hybrids and stuff like that, and went down. Beautiful fellow there. You know.
Oh, the pictures, and the pictures of the antlers we were just saying, incredible, like from behind when you had cleaned out.
You're going to find out the sizes, and we have our guess. I'm with Anthony. You're thinking around 4 feet.
I'm thinking 4 feet. Yeah,
You're a
I
bit
wouldn't
more.
be that big. Like,
You were small. You were reckoning around between 2 and 3, is it?
The outside span, I'd say maybe just a little over 2. Maybe I'd say.
Over 2. Okay.
I'll
We'll
message him.
We'll keep his
We'll
posted.
see. But
yeah,
Massive.
but it's savage, and like the second fallow, we had seen him, and Tim, he's a nice camera, you know, and we got a picture of him on the hoof, and we said, right, you know, we have to get this lad. Beautiful chocolate coloured antlers, and you know, bigger than the first one. Now this was a week later or whatever, you know. It wasn't the same day or the next day around. But we were on one side of the valley, and we spotted him. So we, you know, over a kilometre away or more. Like, that's him. When we were getting down, but there was no way of getting really close to him. You know what I mean? There was a lot of deer between us and him, and also we were going to lose actual shooting position. Where we were, he'd be in dead ground. You know, we weren't going to shoot him. So we got into 400. 375, 400, and I said, you know what, this is just probably the only chance I'm going to get at an animal like this. You know, absolutely gorgeous buck. Lay down, got nice and comfortable. You know, got the breathing right, got everything steady, dialed him in, and the 270 worked. He didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Good
job.
Putting it mildly, yeah.
So that was 2 in the bag.
So that was the fallow, in the space of whatever it was, 10 days or anything like that. And when we were hunting red deer, went up into what they call the bush, but it's basically, I suppose, rainforest, and it's natural forests.
Yeah, it's not planted.
Like it's not planted. You go into a Quilcher wood or something.
Yeah.
Like it, and it's on that steep terrain. You know what I mean? So you have like steep hills, and you're climbing up. You're pulling yourself up with tree trunks, and you have your pack on your back, and your rifle is strapped to it when you're in the mountains. But when you're in the bush, your rifle is in your hand.
Yeah.
There's no point having a sling on it because it just gets caught and everything. So you're carrying it around in your hand. And in New Zealand, with guys, there's a big push there for lightweight guns.
Okay.
So like carbon stocks.
Yeah.
And you can see why.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to Tim, if I lived here, I'd have a light gun because the R8 is quite heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull the arm out of you, walking around all day, and you're walking all day. Like.
Yeah, your fucking forearms like the fucking Thar there.
Yeah. Although I'd imagine the pistol grip was a nice addition to have if you're holding in that position.
Yeah, no,
or the thumb hole grip, I should say.
Yeah, no, it's a really comfortable rifle to shoot. Like, it really is. When I first shot one in 2005, an R93, 2006, a guy from the Netherlands invited me over to shoot roebuck.
Yeah.
And as probably everyone who's listening knows, a blaster is a straight pull. And I had a Ruger at the time, your normal bolt action.
Yeah.
And went over and I went, Jesus, if I ever get a few quid, I'm going to buy one of these. They're just so nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was going up to the main dealer here in Ireland to buy just, your normal pistol grip. And I went up and I had seen the thumb hole stocks in magazines and I thought they were terrible ugly,
Yeah.
And I went up and he goes, here, have a hold of that. And I picked it up and I went, all right, I'll buy that one.
Yeah. I think, was it the H8 was the one that didn't have the thumb hole? That was the last of them, was it?
No, it's so you have the R8 Professional, which is just the normal stock.
Okay.
And then you have the R8 Professional Success, which is the thumb hole.
Oh, okay.
Which is the one I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, the really comfortable rifle to shoot, but you're kind of, you're carrying it, just forward of the, where the trigger would be when you're walking around all day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the lads over there, they're shortening the barrels. Some of them are drilling out the bolt handles, just to lighten everything up. You know what I mean? Like every ounce matters over there. You can see why, when you're walking through that bush and walking around the mountains. But like I'm saying to you, like the bush is natural.
Yes.
There's no pattern to it. And you can see about 30 meters.
Right? 30 meters, that's it.
In a good spot. Other places, 10 meters, less maybe.
Okay.
So what you do is you kind of head into the bush. Tim is good at calling. He'd do a red stack call and you'd listen and wait to see if you got a response. If you didn't get a response, you just keep going. Walk another 10, 15 minutes, call, and you get a response. You go, right, we'll go for that, lad.
Yes.
And this is where that, so there's an app called Topo GPS.
Yeah.
Right. So I downloaded it before I went, and the whole of New Zealand is covered by it. So it has topographical maps and it has aerial maps of every inch of New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the bush, obviously an aerial photograph is no good to you because all you see is top of the tree. So we're using the topographical map, and you'd just steer yourself that direction and leave a trail. You can leave waypoints on it. So you go that direction and just you'd look at it and say, okay, there's a saddle this way, or there's a spur, or we'll drop down into that ravine there and move down into the basin, whatever it is. So that's what you were doing, and you were kind of,
especially there, Stevie. You were saying like obviously the terrain you're on with trees, like even up in Wicklow, you're coming down through fucking trees, in the small forestry, it's very rare that you go back up the way you can, you know what I mean? You'd veer off. So in a natural environment like that with steep ravines, you'd have little or no chance of finding your fucking way back.
Never find it.
No.
So yes, you're chasing deer around the forest, and over the course of 4 or 5 days, whenever we were there, we chased 4 or 5 stags every day. It was brilliant, exciting, really exciting. You know what I mean? Like, you could hear them in the wood. Like, they were 10 meters in front of you, but you just, you know, you just couldn't see them.
Yes.
And you're just waiting, and Tim was calling, and you're just waiting for them to come a little bit further.
Yeah.
And at one stage, I saw the antlers of a stag. You know, we were kind of down in a ravine, and he was at the top of it, and you could see the antlers coming, and then the wind changed. Boom, gone. You know, and that happened every day for 4 or 5 days, where you'd be chasing deer, and the wind is just swirling in the wood.
Yeah.
And blow them out. And funnily enough, then the last day, we broke out into a bit of a clearing. We were just sitting there, and Tim was doing a bit of glassing, and he thought he saw an animal in a clearing about 320 meters away, running into the wood. And he said, well, we'll just give him a call and see what happens. And he gave him a call. Now, Tim reckoned it's not the animal he saw. He reckoned the dominant stag went into the wood, and they have satellite stags that the dominant stag allows to be around.
Yeah, but not too
like
close.
a teaser, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he knows.
Have a look here, boy. This is how it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he reckoned it was the subordinate stag that came out, and he was at 310 or 320, something like that. And like, I can still see it. I can still see all of them. But you know that, you know, if you've watched any, you know, YouTube or red stag hunting, you know the bellow when he puts out his head and throws his antlers back and roars, and he was in the middle, just a little clearing in the middle of this rainforest, and just got down, and he was during the rush, you know, he's running here, running there. He stopped anyway, and I was able to take him. You know what I mean? But savage, absolutely. And throughout all of New Zealand, like all the terrain, we have nothing like it here.
Yeah.
You know, like the forest that you can hunt, the mountains, and it's all public land.
Yeah.
Which we don't have here.
No. We've spoken about that a couple of times in the podcast. That's the one major difference I think we have between here and even Alaska and stuff. There's all it's 90% all privately owned.
The fuckers after it over here.
yeah, exactly.
And it was kind of, you know, New Zealand, I think, kind of based itself largely on the American public land system, you know. So 130 years ago, they started introducing animals. So when New Zealand was discovered by Europeans, obviously there was, you know, native people there before it. But when it was discovered by Europeans, there was no mammals in New Zealand. So every mammal that's there now, so all the deer, I think it's 7 different species of deer, the tar, the chamois, they have possums there, you know, all of that. That was all introduced. And there was more introduced, like they introduced moose, which didn't take. They introduced the American elk, which they call wapiti, which is down in the very south of the South Island in Fiordland. And some of them have kind of hybridized with reds, but there's still, I think, a lot of pure wapiti blood down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll probably attest to Stevie. Like, I was wondering why, you know, say when you were traveling, I'd ask you, is there any sign of any kind of civilization? You were saying no. And I'd found that strange, you know, where you know, say the forestry regions there, you would tend, given that it was a semi-tribal, you know, with the before we Europeans colonized it, or
the Maoris, yeah.
But that's probably why, because there's no fucking animals, there's nothing to eat up there. There's nothing to hunt.
They were a coastal based, what do you call
community,
it, nation. You know what I mean? So the Maori, they were all around the coast, and they lived from the coast.
Yeah.
You know, Tim was saying, like, you know, the sea was their land,
their bounty.
you know, that's where they that's where they got their food, like.
And that explains it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, they introduced mule deer, they didn't take either. Black-tailed deer, they didn't take. Theodore Roosevelt, the American president, he sent all that over there, and then the chamois was introduced, I think, from Austria, and the tar, while native to the Himalayas, were actually, some of them were sent over. There was some lord in England that had a menagerie of animals, you know what I mean, and he sent a few over there. So definitely some of that population has come from England.
Wow.
I can't remember if all of them do. Maybe some of them are sent from Nepal, I'm not sure. But it's the only huntable population of tahr really in the world. I think in Nepal they give out 4 or 5 tags a year, but they're crazy money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas you can go there for the price of your firearms license, which is $25, and your hunting license, which is $5.
$5.
$5. And
God.
when you apply for it, you go on to, so the New Zealand National Parks and Wildlife Service is called the Department of Conservation.
Okay.
You go on to the Department of Conservation website, you click on hunting application, it has a drop down menu of where do you want to hunt.
Yes.
And you just click the boxes. When I was applying, I didn't know where we were going, so I just clicked them all.
Did you?
That's the old Irish thing to do.
The old Irish thing, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I hit enter, right? And by the time I hit enter, they had sent me the hunting license.
Done.
Just done.
Simple as that.
Yeah. And even, like I was saying, all the application for the firearms pass was all done online.
Yeah.
All online. You know, there was nothing.
Streamlined.
Streamlined, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah. A bit similar to here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But, so like even the possums were introduced for fur. They released them off into the mountains, and a couple of years later, then they started hunting them. And guys would just walk for a day through a forest, setting a trap, a foothold trap or whatever, every 100 meters. They bait it, they come back the following day and walk it, and take out what possums they had, and go back and skin them, and then sell them. You know,
Are they plentiful still over there?
yeah. Like every 100 yards you're driving down the road, there's one dead in the road. Like,
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
And that's, I suppose, one of the worst things is, so the Department of Conservation and the New Zealand government have taken a position that all introduced species are to be eradicated from the landscape. So while we were there, one of the places we were hunting, a helicopter flew in, and you could see a big, I suppose the best way of describing it is like a big bucket under it, right? And he was flying around, and they were dropping 1080 poison. So that's laced with, I think, cinnamon, which attracts the animals. They eat it and then they die. Like, but like we had to take cover under our backpacks. You know what I mean? They were dropping it around us, so we had to take the backpacks off and try and get in under it. Like, because while they're not that big, he was dropping them a couple of 100 feet above us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knock it clean out.
That's sad, isn't it? That's
it is. And I think the New Zealand government are missing a trick, I think, in that it could be one of the destinations for hunting.
Yeah.
You know, and instead of looking at, right, we have to control these numbers and we're going to poison them, they could be, okay, we're going to control these numbers and we're going to make money by inviting hunters to the country.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you're buying camping gas, you're buying food, you know, you're driving around, you're filling your Jeep with diesel, you're stopping in the shop for something to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
taxidermy, all that kind of stuff. Peripheral stuff.
All adds up. Yeah.
It's funny, like there was a petition years back, as we were saying off air, but to stop the I think they were shooting them out of helicopters and stuff like that, you know, and just letting the carcass rot. And I thought that was semi-successful. I think it got a lot of traction anyway.
It did.
But this seems to be kind of their underhanded way of dealing with it. Yeah,
and they don't want to, so even the tahr, now they've confined them, so if you can imagine that, you know, the Alps on the South Island kind of run down the centre of the island, and they've confined them to the middle third. So they're still heli hunting them. If any of them get out of there, they're still heli hunting them. But then to control the numbers that are in it, they're spreading this poison.
It's fucking sad, man.
You wonder where
It
the
is
fucking
sad.
saboteurs are now.
Yeah, honest to fuck, yeah.
They're over there with
the
their fucking helmets on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honest to
and
God.
like there has to be collateral damage. So there's
Absolutely.
there's a mountain parrot up there called a Kia, and one of the rarest birds in New Zealand, perhaps the world, I can't remember, but they eat meat. Like, so if you poison something and they go over and eat it,
Yeah.
Now maybe I could be completely wrong, but I wouldn't think so. Like,
No.
Yeah.
you're getting secondhand poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Into that,
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, it's not exactly the science what they're fucking doing. They're dropping it from a helicopter, it's bouncing, and you were saying there overnight the weather changes and you can get like rain and stuff. All this stuff has been washed into streams and waterways and
Yeah, and we were lucky that where we camped, now there was a lot. There's a lot of water in New Zealand. Like, you think we have a lot of water in Ireland in regards to streams and rivers.
Yeah.
it's not,
It's just everywhere, and a lot of it is crystal clear. Like, literally, you can dip your cup in it and drink it.
drink it.
Yes.
Like, that's what we were doing. You know what I mean? We were very lucky in that a little stream rose right beside where we were camped, but there was 5 or 6 other little streams around us.
Yeah.
But no poison got into that little one where that came out of the ground, literally right beside us. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think New Zealand could be promoted as the hunting destination because
Yeah.
you're not paying the big guide fees that you are in America. You're not paying the tag fees. You get a $5 license, like,
Yeah.
on you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we just spoke a bit before we came on here, and like you were kind of running through some of the breakdown and costs for, essentially getting yourself there and you're getting your gear and stuff, and the helicopter and fuel and stuff, and like in comparison to some of the prices we've seen for, like, say some hunts in Alaska, like, it's not even in it's dare I say it, it's not exactly expensive. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a fella yesterday actually, who went over to Scotland on a guided hunt after a red stag over in Scotland. This is about 4 years ago, I think he said, and he paid £2,500 for that hunt for 3 days. And like you were giving us kind of rough guided figures earlier on,
Yeah, like, I suppose and I'm going to be biased in what I say here, but the first thing I would tell people is not to book with Lufthansa. Because they cancelled the flight 3 weeks before I was due to leave,
Yeah, that's fucked.
And like I was saying to you, that flight was booked a long time ago. Claire booked it for the birthday, and it was about €1,400-1,500 for the flight. And there's nothing you can do about that. That's the cheapest you're going to get it. You're booking it over a year in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because it was 3 weeks out,
Yeah.
You got shafted.
and I had to book with another airline. I got shafted. Like,
Yeah.
it was a multiple of what we had
Of what
paid.
you had. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But even like taking into account the flights and then everything, you know what I mean? So like the diesel for the Jeep. So Tim was hunting as well. So everything after I arrived, we split 50-50.
Yes. Yeah.
And you could do a DIY hunt. Like if you two wanted to go and you wanted to do it by yourselves, fly into Queenstown on the South Island, hire your Jeep, and you could be in the Southern Alps in 3 or 4 hours hunting.
That's cool.
That's
I know it's a long way to get there, but yeah.
it is, yeah. But like, I suppose, look, everything all in, including the flights, you could do it for €5,000.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like, that's very affordable. I would say that's very, very affordable.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it would have been 3.5 if I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you hadn't had that other hiccup, as the fellow says, yeah.
But it's what do you call it? It's you're not paying the big tag fees like you are in America or anything like that. You can just go.
Cool.
But like I said, you'd need that GPS locator. Download the app, and on you can go. So, like when we finished up the first or the red deer hunt, and we went to the east coast of the Southern Alps, we went in there and we stayed in the Department of Conservation hut. So in the 60s and 70s, when the country was being overrun by deer, the government employed professional cullers.
Okay.
And they built these huts throughout the North and South Island. And I think they were every 20 kilometres through all the wilderness along a certain direction. I think Tim said 20. Anyway, but they've maintained them.
Yeah.
So all that culling kind of stopped. I think it was the mid 80s, thereabouts, when when they thought, they'd got the numbers down sufficiently. But they maintained the huts, and now anyone, so like someone going hiking, someone going canoeing, hunters, you can rent those huts for $5 Kiwi a night, which is like €3.
That's
Fucking hell,
brilliant.
brilliant.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that is deadly, isn't it?
Fucking
For
deadly.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has a stove in it. Normally, there's pots and pans and stuff like that. You just collect firewood, light it. It has a long drop toilet.
Yes. Okay.
Separate from it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be living with that, but so you can be quite comfortable and you can hunt an area, for a couple of days. So we went in for 6 days. We got to the hut in the afternoon, dropped our gear, and there's beds and all in these. Like there's bunk beds with, like, I suppose prison mattress would be the way to describe it. Like one you can wipe clean. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And you just throw your gear up on it and on you go. So we dropped everything, went down the valley, and glacial valleys. So at the head of the valley, there was, a big glacier, loads of snow on it, and it was the same down the other end, and where the hut was at the confluence of two rivers, where two rivers met. And so we went up, and it was, it was very low at the time. We went up so you walk up the riverbed basically, and you glass the valleys either side of you, and when you see the Thar, then up you go.
Okay.
So the first evening we got there, went in, we spotted a couple of Thar, and we said, right, we'll be back for you in the morning. So back to the hut, up the next morning, went in. That side of the valley was in shadow, and the Thar, it was kind of warm weather, so the Thar were sticking to the shadow because they have a big shaggy coat on them to keep them warm in the Himalayas. So it took a couple of hours to find them. Found them, started climbing, and like I was saying to you, the steepest terrain I've ever been on. Now, I'm sure there's people who have been on steeper, but I don't know, maybe if we started climbing at 10, it was, I think, 4 o'clock, 3:30 by the time we got into a shooting position.
Christ. That's some going, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And got into a shooting position. We were only 200 metres from the Thar. He was sitting down chewing his cud. He stood up, put the crosshairs on his shoulder, squeezed the shot, and that thud.
Yeah.
When you hit it there, square, you get that thud.
Yeah.
It was the same thud. Like.
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah.
But where he was sitting, he got up and just ran around the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
Disappeared out of sight. So that was, like we said, maybe around 4:30. It was only 200 metres away, but it would have taken an hour and a half to just to get where he was because there was 2 really steep ravines.
Yeah.
So the decision was made. Well, I kind of made it. I went, listen, I've had enough mountain climbing for the day.
Yeah.
We'll come. You couldn't have got to him while it was bright.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was no point getting there in the dark.
Yeah.
So we said, right, we'll come back in the morning. So that was day 3. We came back, and when you went around the corner where he disappeared, there was just a ravine, just a gorge. And,
Okay.
there was no sign of him. It was just.
And just on that, Stevie, when like obviously the Thar, that's their, they're comfortable in that type of terrain. But would you have seen many Thar, like as in that you couldn't possibly take a shot, knowing that wherever he dropped, like that? Was there many of them around that say you could have glassed and said, I could shoot that fella, but if I take him, I ain't pulling him out of there,
Yeah, like there was Thar in places that if you shot him, you were never getting to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever,
Which would defeat the purpose of shooting him in the first place. Yeah.
Like you could say, yeah, he'll fall there, and even if he fell where he stood, I can't get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a mountaineer. You know what I mean? Like maybe someone with the proper experience, I'm sure. Not a bother. On they go. Like, but I'm not a mountaineer, so
No, fair enough.
It was something you took into account.
You have to know your
about
limits.
where you were going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck it.
So I spent the day looking for him, couldn't find him. back to the hut that night, and it started to rain. It started to rain just as we got to the hut. Heavy rain, and I was saying to you, there's glaciers either end of the valley, and they were covered in snow, and the rain started to melt the snow. And the rivers just started to fill up. Now, obviously, the glaciers weren't melting, but all the snow that was on it. Like the next morning, we went out and looked, and you could see whole areas of the glacier where the snow was gone off it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rivers just started to rise. And you could hear boulders, like the size of the table, washing down the rivers,
Fucking hell, man.
And
that's hectic.
if you went to cross it, there was areas that we had to cross the river to get to where we wanted to go. And if you went across that, you were gone. Like,
are you serious? Yeah.
There's no either a boulder to get you or the water just wash you away. Like the flow on.
So this thing went like a fucking like a river or a stream to a fucking whitewater scenario overnight.
Yeah. And it just kept raining, and it rained all that day, and it rained all the following day. And we left on the 6th day. Then there's just no.
Yeah.
There's no point. But I mean, it had rot you. I showed you the picture of us sitting down outside the hut, glassing all around us. And there was red stags and tar and everything within 800 meters.
Yeah, but
and not at the top of the mountain where we'd been, because obviously, the bit of weather had brought them down, maybe, or whatever. But like, you could have. No, I can't shoot 800 meters. But if you could have got across the river, it would have been like a 300 meters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doable, doable, exactly right. Yeah.
And you're sitting there looking at them, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, I've missed my chance here now. This is it. And like, it's not going there was for the experience.
Yeah.
But obviously we're hunters, and you're there to hunt.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have, if I hadn't gotten anything, I wouldn't have come out of there going, that was a wasted trip. Yeah. It was absolutely the best trip I've ever been on. And not that I'm away on hunting trips every week or anything. You know what I mean? This is,
but it's like what we said. There's never even here at night time. There's never a night I don't go out, and I on the worst nights you wouldn't see what you went out to shoot or whatever.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't come back in and say, I saw something. You saw hair, or you saw you seen something.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to show it.
The other night, rabbit. Remember, and there was a bird in the. I said, "What the fuck?" We were picking it up in the handheld, and the thing, and we couldn't figure it out. We were right upon it.
Yeah,
and he started, and there's always something that, like what you said, the blue duck or the parrots.
The key.
Yeah, but just to be out on it. It
was savage, but I was thinking to myself, nah, I'm goose now. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, don't get me wrong, Jesus, the experience, like hunting the fallow, hunting the red stag in the bush, and being there in the Southern Alps, hunting the tar in that terrain. Like we had got to where they live. We were within 200 meters of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had pushed yourself into their ground, and like I said to you, I was uncomfortable. Like there was one time when we were going across the face of the mountain, and they have what they call monkey scrub, and it's like heather that kind of grows out and then up, and it would maybe be a foot long, or 2 feet if you measured it from root to tip, maybe.
Yeah.
But going across it, and there was times when we were like climbing across the mountain, and your feet wasn't on the ground; your feet were in that monkey scrub, and you couldn't feel the ground, and you were going, "If I slip here, I'm gone." Like,
yeah.
And we were going across, and I slipped, and I was gone a couple of feet before I got the ice axe into the ground, like. And it took a few minutes to steady yourself.
Steady yourself again.
Yeah.
You're a long way from shore ground there,
Yeah. You're going across scree slides where you step on the stones, and it's just like, you're just moving with the stones. It's like surfing stones down the hill. You know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
But yeah, so we pulled out of there. We went down to Queenstown and Maid of Thames. Was down there, gave us a bunk for the night. Got a wash. Got into a laundromat the next morning. Washed all the smelly gear.
Yeah.
Had a feed and headed up the west coast, the west side of the Alps. Stopped for a feed along the way, which was the the worst thing I could have done. Picked up a dose out of it. So the following day, so we'd hunted from the bottom up on the east coast, and we decided to hunt from the top down on the west coast. So we got a heli to drop us in on the top of a mountain, well, just below it, into a basin, so we'd be out of the wind. We set up tents up there, and then we were walking the ridges. So you'd walk the ridges between valleys, you'd glass down either side of you, and if you saw something, you'd jump off the ridge, and down you go.
Down you go. Yeah.
And the first evening we got there, we set up tents, rolled out sleeping bags, inflated everything, and then we said, right, we'll go for quick hunting. Gone a kilometre or two, and I was worse for wear. I just said to Tim, listen,
you're on your own, buddy.
Yeah.
Go on. I can't go any further. That I'm just stopping every 10 minutes. So he went on, and he was gone. I think maybe 600 or 700 meters, but maybe over 2 ridges at that stage. And he got a lovely chamois, absolutely lovely chamois, 9.5-inch chamois. And the New Zealanders, the Kiwis, for a trophy, what they would consider a trophy chamois is 10 inches, and a trophy Thar would be 12 inches, So he got, in my opinion, a trophy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And the one I got was considerably smaller, but it's a trophy to me. Like, it's my remembrance of being there. But back to the tents that night, forced a bit of grub in me, threw a load of Imodium into me. We were outside the tents the following morning having a cup of coffee, and we looked up, and Tim spotted a family group of chamois across the other side of the valley, and like I was saying to you, the scale of the place, it's hard to imagine. Like, you think something is 200 meters and it's a kilometre away.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to comprehend that,
Yeah.
So we chased them, and like that was at 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe 7, maybe 6:30. No, it was 7, because Tim was taking pity on me, not getting me out of bed too early because I was in a heap. But like, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon by the time we got a shot. So you're going all day, and you're in their terrain, and you have to follow them, and what takes them 2 minutes takes you 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes.
And you're hoping you're going to get one shot.
Yeah. So we got in, and I think we got into 87 meters or something, and got the chamois in. We were sitting there having a cup of coffee after, and a bite to eat, and Tim spotted 2 Thar, and we said, right, we'll give them a go the following day. So there was a knife ridge between where we had taken the chamois, where I had taken the chamois, one of those knife ridges that you had to go along, and like literally it was 6 inches wide, and a lot of the ridges were, or maybe go to 18 inches. But there was it's like something you'd see out of Wile E. Coyote. There was a boulder sitting in the middle of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to get where you were going, you'd have to go over this boulder that was a bit shaky.
Yeah. Fuck
that. That's exactly what I said. And Tim picked up that saying when we were over there, because that's what I was saying a lot.
Yeah.
But we got to it, and I went, no, that's me. I'm done.
Here's my high-vis vest, Tim. You walk on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'll keep an eye out for you.
But, and he said, are you sure? And I said, listen, I can't go any further. And he goes, right, I'm going. I said, on you go. And he got over that, and there was just ridge after ridge, and it was actually uncomfortable looking at him. Right? A savage in the mountains. That's all I could describe him as.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable looking at him. I was sitting down doing nothing.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable looking at him where he was going. Like.
Yes. Yeah.
And he went over. Took him a few hours to get over there. He had to, like I was saying, to hike all these ridges. He had to climb down from the ridge. He got into, I think it was 284 meters. he loves taking pictures, of animals, even if he never shot them. But he took a few pictures of the Thar where he was. He shoots a 7mm Ren mag. Shot the Thar. The Thar took 2 steps and fell dead, But then he couldn't, those ravines, I was telling you about those steep ravines, he couldn't get across to them. So he had to climb back up, go down along the ridge.
And drop back down.
And when he got to his Thar, it was on such a steep slope that he had to bury the ice axe in the slope and hook the Tar's horns into the ice axe.
For the
Right?
Like, that's unfucking Like, imagine, like, just to comprehend that.
Yeah.
It's mental, isn't it?
Oh, man. Crazy.
And you were saying when he caped him out, the body just fucking dropped.
Yeah, so he kept him out. Took it from, behind the front shoulders and cased him up the whole way and came up the back of the head. And as soon as he cut the atlas joint, as soon as the body was free from the cape and the head was obviously part of the cape, which was being held there by the ice axe, as soon as he let it go, boom, gone. The body just slipped off the mount, gone. That's how steep it was. Like,
my God. That must be something else.
Fucking mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you had to load it up. And like I was saying to you, you wouldn't believe the thickness of the hide, like, 1/2-inch hide. Loaded up, we estimated the capes and the heads to be, between 25 and 30 kilos on top of what you're carrying. So I was saying to you, you carry your jet oil, you carry your water, you carry the gear that you need for that day, you're carrying your rifle. So you're probably carrying 20 kilos already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say, but from the time he left me to the time he got back, you're looking at 5 hours maybe.
Right.
That's some fucking walking with 40 kilos on your back.
Yeah. Honest to fuck.
Yeah. And, I was watching him coming back, and, as he got closer, cooked up a bit of grub, made a cup of coffee. He got back, we took a few photographs of him with the cape, and we sat down on the ridge and started having a cup of coffee. And when he had been going out that morning, so bear in mind what he'd already climbed, when I say this to you, when he was going out that morning, just in the next basin, I couldn't see him, but just in the next basin there was a steep cliff, and there was a bull Thar standing on that, and he got lovely pictures of it, and he went, no, that's too steep for me, I'm going after this other lad, right? So that's the terrain they're in, you know what I mean? And so that bull Thar had been there all day, just in the next basin. So where I was sitting, I was scanning the basin all day. I was looking for chamois, looking for Thar. Nothing came into it. So he comes back, we're having a cup of coffee, and he goes, there's a bull Thar. I went, fuck off, leave me alone. Because this was the last day.
Yeah.
And it was the last hour of the last day.
Yeah.
And I went, stop messing. And he goes, there's a Thar down there, right? And a lovely sea of golden kind of tussocky grass. And you could see this black head in it. And I didn't think it was a Thar at first. I was looking through the vines. I was going, is that a Thar? No, that's not a Thar. I went, that's a rock. He goes, no, it's a Thar. And I was looking at it, and then I could make out the sweep of the horn. And I went, it is a Thar, right? But couldn't get a shot from where we were. Had to move into a better position. So we moved, got in, ranged him. He was at 370 meters. But I was telling you earlier on about the angle correction in the binos.
Yeah.
So it came up at 310. So dialed up 310. But he was sitting down. He was enjoying the last bit of sun of the day, because in the basin he had been in, the sun had come out of it, and then he came into the one we were in. So Tim said, right, we'll wait for him. And we were waiting there, and I was kind of thinking, it's going to get dark. So I said, can you do it and make him stand up? And he said, yeah. He did it like a nanny Thar bleat. So he bleated 4 or 5 times, and he stood up, and he was below us, but he was facing to his right. So I ran the crosshairs up his leg, put it on his shoulder, squeezed the shot, and you could see the shoulder was broken straight away. You know, when they lift it.
Yeah.
They lift it.
Yeah.
And all I was thinking was about the Thar I'd lost. That was in the back of my head.
Yeah.
You know? And he turned to the left to run back towards that ravine that, if he got into it, he'd been gone. Like,
Yeah.
so I cycled around real quick. He was starting to run. I just put the crosshairs on the front of his chest and squeezed off a shot. And you could see it hitting him again, you know what I mean, on the left shoulder.
Yes.
But he got around out of sight, going to the left. And we thought, in the gorge.
Oh, fucking animal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. It was 130 grand, probably go 140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Hornady Superformance is traveling an extra 300 feet per second. You know, it had just hit him that much harder. But so Tim said to me, he said, "You stay there, keep an eye on where he went." And he'd go down and see if he could have a look and see where he was, you know. So went down. I steered him onto where the last spot I seen him. He went around to the left because he saw him through the binos going around to the left as well. And no, gone. I was going, Jesus.
Fuck.
You know.
Yeah.
He's gone into that ravine. Beautiful bull Thar, you know. And he turned back to the right to come back up. And there was a gully running down to the right. So the Thar had ran left, but then turned right and fell. He was dead 20 yards.
Fucking hell.
Down the gully.
That must have been some relief.
Oh.
Yeah.
The last hunt on the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last hour. It was 4:45 when I squeezed the trigger and it was dark at 6 o'clock.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was meant to be, man. It was meant to fucking be.
4:04.
But it was savage. It was savage, you know. And then I was just saying to you about that app, that navigation app. So if someone is going, they need to, you need to be able to navigate in the mountains by day and night. But now we had compasses and maps as a backup.
Yeah.
But this map is savage. Like I was saying, on the way out, we were weaving our way through ravines and gorges and, along ridge lines. And I was dropping a waypoint with this app on my phone every 200 meters, And
obviously light is fading. This when you're retrieving this Thar, is it?
Yeah, no, so when we left camp every day.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'd start dropping these waypoints to wherever we were going, But like when we got the Thar back to the ridge, it was basically dark.
Dark, yeah.
We loaded up the 2 packs, and we started walking. So we had a Thar in each and all our gear. And Tim walked in front of me. I had the app out, and we were navigating from one waypoint to the other. So I'd say to him, like, left a bit, he'd walk that way, and I'd be just looking at the navigation app to make sure we weren't going left or right where we were going. And that's, if lads were thinking about going, you really have to be
That's
able
an essential piece of kit to make it a comfortable hunt, as comfortable as you can get, I suppose.
Yeah, but you need to be comfortable navigating in the dark.
Yeah.
Like, be that with a map and compass or, with an app, whatever it is, but you have to be comfortable in the dark.
Yeah.
So that was it. Back to the tent, laid out the Thar, to let them cool down. You know what I mean, so that the skins could be taxidermied.
And you got a cool photo of that in the album as well, with all the heads laid out.
Yeah. So
savage.
Yeah, the following day, before we were getting out of there, we laid out the 2 Thar, laid out the 2 chamois. Put the old phone on timer and got the photographs. It was funny. I was saying to you earlier on, I was only texting Tim during the week. I came on this photo on Twitter or I was looking online or something like that, and it was 2 American guys on the top of a mountain with a Thar each, and a helicopter behind them. And I was saying to you about guys shooting out of helicopters, and you could these guys, lovely combed hair, nice clean shaven, all that thing. And then you look at the picture of me and Tim after 6 days there.
Battle
Yeah,
hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Battle fucking
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Fucking-
You'll have
and you-
much,
you know.
much better memories taught than them lads.
Absolutely,
You know?
man. Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
can see that, you can look at it and go, Jesus, you're worn out, like you're
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
but what an actual adventure.
Yeah.
I know that sounds corny.
No,
right?
I know what you're saying though.
But-
Yeah.
Like you could go there, you don't know what you're going to see, you don't know where you're going to go.
Yeah.
When you were just like, with the huts and stuff, and the rivers and the ravines and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember them kind of old westerns? Where the fucking they had the hunting lodge out in the fucking wild. Isn't it? It's like every.
It
I'm
does.
not being sexist here, but it's like every boy's dream. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going out
definitely.
with the fucking
To
the
be
gun
off
in your
out.
back, and
Yeah.
isn't it though? Isn't
Yeah.
that was.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think that's what I know. That's what brought me into hunting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just that
Yeah.
feeling of adventure. I think
You got
that's
to fucking live it.
as hunters. That's probably a lot of what we are. We
Yeah.
all love an adventure.
Yeah, and I mean, I probably the same as yourselves, lads. As soon as I could kind of walk behind the grandfather,
Yeah.
I was out. I remember like at 6, following along, shooting rabbits. Shot my first rabbit at 8 and haven't looked back.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Do you do like when you're here? Obviously, predominantly your shooting is here. You do a lot of deer hunting here, and would you do pheasants and ducks? And
yeah,
stuff, or-
yeah. I have Springer at home, so pheasants, ducks, snipe,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I'm in the club at home there. I'm on a Straven. I'm lucky enough. I live 150 yards from a bog.
Grand.
So you
Yeah.
can literally jump the fence
Yeah.
and on you go. And I love now bringing the kids. The last couple of years, not last year because I was in the accident waiting on the surgery, but the couple of years before that, getting the kids up, getting their boots on them,
Yes.
and on across the bog for the day, and it's great.
Yeah.
And the same, during the summer, bringing them fishing.
Yeah.
Like they asked me a couple of years ago, Daddy, will you teach me how to fish?
Yeah.
And I'd kind of given it up because all I used to do was fish and hunt, and then
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
married and the kids come along, and they asked, I went, yes, here we go.
Yeah.
Goes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes
Happy
full
days.
circle.
Yeah. We're back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, what do you call it? No, it's class. And I brought them. I have a bit of deer stalking in Wicklow. There's a farmer lets me shoot up there, and I brought them up 3 years ago now. So they'd been after being out pheasant shooting and all that. They were asking me, bring us, and I was going, you're a bit too young,
Yeah.
But anyway, I relented and brought them. And I just filled up a bag with sweets and
Yeah.
took our time
Yeah.
because it's a very, very steep bit of ground as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So on we went. We took loads of breaks and we had a great day out. And we were climbing up one side of the valley, and I looked across the other side, and there was deer.
Yeah.
And I said to them, "Look, there's deer over there. But if you want to go and get them, we have to climb back down and then climb back up."
Yeah.
And they went, "Yeah, Daddy, let's go." And so we did. And you're getting closer and closer, and they're getting excited, and you have to use your quiet voice.
Yeah.
They're roaring, and you're going, "No."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got in and we got a lovely seek hind, and they were over the moon, and it was their deer, and they wanted to butcher it, and they wanted to eat it, and
Yeah.
Brilliant.
like the kids now, and Claire didn't come from a hunting family, but like venison, duck, pheasant,
Yeah,
snipe. Like the kids love, you get a snipe, breasted out, quick fry in the pan on a bit of toast with a bit of honey on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah,
Lovely.
definitely. Yeah.
Happy days.
The
man.
best of stuff. It's stuff they'll bring with them for the rest of their life. In
Absolutely.
fairness, yeah,
Absolutely. And
definitely.
I suppose that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
It's now over to us, I suppose, to ensure there's hunting for the next generation and the one after it,
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's that that new consultation on the future of deer and the future of firearms and all that is, I think it's worrying really,
Yeah.
And, like
Yeah.
even some of the questions on it, like, do you think people should be allowed to reload at home? Yeah, of course
Yeah.
they should if that's their sport. Like if you're a competition shooter, right
Yeah.
now you have to go to a club and keep all your gear there
Yeah.
and reload there.
Yeah.
Like what's the harm in having someone
Yeah.
reload
100%.
at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, and we spoke on this first. I know there's all like the freedom of information, and everyone has the right to it and all that. But like, I don't know, like, there's part of me the same thing. There's, like, that's open to anyone to go into that. And I suppose if you're not educated, like, you know, should you be allowed have an input into something if you know absolutely nothing about that whatsoever?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if 150,000 people come on and say, no, you shouldn't be allowed to reload ammo because they don't know what that's about.
Yeah, they think you're some sort of mad scientist in the back of a fucking house, loading explosives, you know?
Exactly. And then you look at the number of registered licensed deer holders now. I think there's 5,000 of them, or 6,000, say, for instance. Like, you're fighting losing battles. So, like, you know, the thing that bothers me is, why should they have a say in it? If you know what I mean. Like, they're going to be making uninformed, uneducated recommendations.
When they make the argument, I suppose, that, you know, everyone should have an opinion, you can't really argue it. And that's I suppose that's, you know, fair enough. I understand, but that, like, it'd be the same thing as if there was a fucking rule change in hurling or something, you know, and everyone can have a fucking say in it, you know, like.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't been involved in the sport for, as we have been for, you've been obviously longer than I have, and same as yourself, Bernie. But but like, if you're not in that profession or sport or lifestyle for a certain period of time, you're not going to understand it. And then how the fuck are your opinions going to change that for the better, which is what we're all after, you know?
And then, like some of what they're looking for consultation on, you know, like the length of a gun, that's worded in such a way that they want to get rid of a certain type of firearm. Or what caliber should you be allowed to use?
The decision's already fucking made. They're just trying to look for reaffirmation, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, like the you know, should deer be classified as a pest? No, they're not a pest. Okay, I'm sure they're a pest to a farmer, but if he can get a hunter to come along and shoot them, why do you need gamekeepers or professional hunters, which is in that?
Yeah.
You're going, to a certain extent, you could see it, and I hope, you know, not to the extent in New Zealand where they're dropping poison, but that deer number is going to be controlled by contractors.
Yeah. And nobody else gets a bite of the cherry.
Well, as I say, I'll tell you one thing, if I heard that was going to happen in the morning, it wouldn't stop me anyway. I guarantee you that.
I think it's a contradiction to fucking, it's a and I know this is, but it's a human rights like, if you're providing, as you do, as I do, as Bernie does, you know, I believe in nutritious food and healthy food, and like, they're talking about fucking carbon neutral and on ones with electric batteries and fucking cars, and we're shooting animals, you know, 150, 200, 500 yards from your fucking door. You're carrying it in, no plastic, no antibiotics, no. You're feeding your family with zero waste. You're controlling the animal, you know, in terms of the population numbers. There's nothing about that that's negative. There's nothing about that that's negative, and to make a profession out of it, essentially. And that's what they're trying to fucking do, you know?
100%, definitely, yeah.
And that's my only thing with the HCAP, you know, and one part of me wants to do it because of the whole, you know, to know what it's about and so on, so I can't really comment at the minute, but like, if it almost seems like it has this wrapped up feel about it, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I could guarantee you could walk into that course, your knowledge has been handed down from a generation to a generation. You could probably teach the person who's teaching that fucking course. Do you know what I'm saying? Why should you have to do that when you've already learned from, you know, be it an uncle or grandfather or somebody who's, like we talked about in New Zealand where they had no rangefinders, they had no binoculars, and men went out in the 50s and 60s and hunted these animals through the roughest terrain, like real fucking hunters, you know, like barbarian men and women. And what better people to learn off? That knowledge is there, but they're now telling you, no, that's not really good enough. You have to go over here and pay us this and get a little certificate, and we'll box you up and tell you you're a perfect hunter. Do you know what I mean? That's the bit that I don't really fucking like, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with the whole safety aspect. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you should just be handing out a fucking gun to any, you know what I mean? But I definitely think that in the field training should count for fucking something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You just be worried that they're not going to make it into a minority, that there's a certain group of people that are going to be able to hunt deer, and then that's it.
I think I said to you, Stevie, I think we're probably on the cusp of a kind of like a fucking tag system. They'll probably, as a throwaway thing, they'll have the culled hunters, they'll be doing the job essentially of controlling the animal, and then for the rest of us they'll throw out a few fucking tags for the scraps between the rest of us,
Yeah.
But the other side of that then is the reservoir for deer in Ireland is in the national parks.
Yeah.
So if you're going to control deer and you're going to use hunters to control them, and maybe if it's tag system, why don't we do something proactive, like say, okay, in the national parks we will allow shooting, because now you can't. But we're going to charge a tag fee, and let's say it's 100 quid. Let's just say it's 100 quid. Let's say it's 50 quid.
Yeah.
Right? And we can all put in, and then you can go and wander the national park and see if you can get yourself a nice stag or a good meat animal, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you're reducing the number in there as well, but ring fence that money from the tags that it has to stay in the national park.
Yeah.
And it has to then provide for amenities for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like kids can go there, and there's things for them to do. There's a wildlife ranger there who can tell them about all the animals that are there. There's bits of playground, maybe you could set up like a fishing dock if there's a lake there. That it'd be something worthwhile that would come from shooting, that then, people will go, oh, yes, this was supplied by all the hunters.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's
Exactly. Yeah,
give and take,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Like we've spoken more times in this podcast about like all our license fees. Like, what the fuck does that money go to? Like, wouldn't it be great if they turned around and said that we're pumping, 50% of that into wildlife conservation with proper, I think, not proper, but I mean with successful fucking wildlife projects, not just giving out to X, Y, or Z, or like as if you were saying something that people can physically see and go, but Jenny, that money that these lads are coming in every year is going towards that.
Yeah, I think as well, like it's education on both sides of the fence. I think they like, our sport is not a fucking cheap profession by any means.
No.
No.
And it's not getting any cheaper. And to work or to do what we do, requires obviously a passion on one side, but financial input as well. And obviously that the benefit of that, as you rightly said, is going back into the exchequer, the economy. What the fuck is happening with all that? And why don't we said it before, I think we said it last week, why don't we help there's 3 hunters here who, I don't know, take a couple of heads a year and many more like us, why not help them instead of, or incentivize them, you know what I mean? Throw a few bob, a bounty, or whatever way you want to call it. I don't, the bounty system, I know that you have fucking lads coming in with 50, but maybe throw a bit back to help contribute.
Yeah.
Like you look at the American system, right? So let's just say you live in a state, let's just say Wisconsin, right? So all the license fees that are sold in Wisconsin, the government of that state, like, that has to be spent on wildlife
and conservation.
Yeah. And once they can show that it was spent on wildlife and conservation, the federal government matches it.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think it's the Pittman-Robertson Act, where there's a tax on all hunting equipment and fishing equipment and archery in the US. And I think it's a 10% tax. And all of that goes back in.
Yeah.
And they're actually now trying to put it onto like backpacking stuff. So people, like at the moment, if you're a backpacker and you don't hunt or fish, you can just go wherever you want across all their public land, but you don't
pay the tax, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But like, that's kind of something that,
And the gas thing about that is there's essentially, that is a part of a lot of sport here. Only fishing and hunting is not part of it. There's a lot of organisations out there when it comes to fundraising that if you enter into certain schemes, that if you gather up X amount of money, that organisation will essentially match whatever you've done, but it's in every.
We're like the
fucking.
I said it before. We're like the cousin that's invited to the wedding. You have to invite, but like you don't really want there, and you stick them over in the corner.
Yeah,
and then, but maybe then if like if a bird gets into the kitchen and starts attacking the fucking wedding cake, then we bring you out and you can help us then. But fuck off back into the corner again. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like we're like that. Nobody talks about us, but like when we're kind of needed, or the conservation projects around the country where you know. Everyone has this lovely fanciful dream that the fox won't touch the curlew or the partridge and stuff, and that they're just dancing around because it's a conservation and wildlife, or Birdwatch Ireland, or they put up a sign and the buzzards will stay away from the sign. You know what I mean? It's this fucking game we're playing. Like, why don't we own up to it? Like, and say, well, if it wasn't for the boys fucking doing all the nasty business, then these projects wouldn't be successful. It just wouldn't be.
There's what is it? Maybe 4 years ago now, maybe a bit more. It was International Curlew Day, and I saw the national parks had released a piece of news saying that it's a 60% decline in the curlew population, and these are the only places that they are in Ireland currently, and now there's some in Monastrevin, but it wasn't on the map. And I rang them. I said, "Do you know about this population?" And they went, "No." And since then, the local club has been trying to manage the vermin to allow the curlew to breed there.
Yeah.
But like this new bird derogation.
Yeah.
That you have to apply to control.
Yeah, for Section 25 or whatever the fuck.
Magpies, grey crows and foxes, you now have to like apply, not the foxes, but the birds, like, to control them. And by the time that happens, how many curlew nests are destroyed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we all know there's a woeful shortage of fucking magpies and grey crows.
And they're beautiful. They're so fucking beautiful. Flora, fauna. And, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. They just fucking devastate.
But we'll do this merry dance. We'll keep doing it. I think the Kildare Federation fucking meeting the other night, the one thing that came out of it, like I took out of it, I took a picture of the fucking derogation, and I'm telling all tomorrow night. I'm sending it on the WhatsApp group, and if a fucking ranger comes up if you're controlling these and they ask you, I'll just say, show them that all of the above, because there's one obviously for there's a certain time of the year for damage to flora and fauna, a certain time of the year for damage to livestock, and the widest one obviously is spread of disease. But I'd be just saying, all of the above. Do you know what I mean? Shitting in me fucking trock. Yeah. It's eating the eyes out of me lambs and yos. Yeah. And it's decimating me fucking crop.
Yeah, but am I wrong? Do you not have to apply before you start now?
No, only if that was outside. So they extended the derogation, so you can trap and control up to December 31st. For them three. So say the crop one has, I'll be correct, and I think it's the end of August or something like that. The flora and fauna that's the flora and fauna one. The damage to livestock is obviously, I think, it's based around the sheep lambing season, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the widest one is the spread of disease. But outside of them times, if you want to, if they're damaging crops, outside of that derogation, you'd apply for your section then. Yeah. Now that's my reading of it.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
No, I could be wrong. But I'll throw it up on the thing afterwards.
One thing we know is it's worrying times, I think, as the fella says, and we have to all watch this space.
They're definitely making it fucking more difficult.
And definitely try and be more proactive. Anyway, I think we better wrap it up on that. We've been keeping Stevie out.
We'll just stay here fucking drinking and talking all night, man.
That's the fuck, exactly, yeah. We probably should have done that.
And Brendan said the bed isn't too fucking comfortable, so...
Won't fucking bother you. Come here, thanks a million for coming on.
It was great, lads. I enjoyed it. Thanks very
Thanks,
much. Nice to
Stevie.
meet you.
If you're
been a
heading
fucking
off,
pleasure,
if
man.
you're heading off on any more, BJ's keep us posted, won't you?
No hassle. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll be let out the door now for a while, but we'll see.
You might, lad. You might. Not
Well, whatever way you were acting the previous 10, 12 years, obviously it works. So
It works,
keep
yeah.
that up.
Keep it up. Keep it really. Stevie, thanks a million, man. I really appreciate that. And we'll be talking to you, I'm sure, in the future.
Sound, lads.
Thanks, Stevie.
Have a good one. And that was the bowl Stevie White, lad.
Which is, well, lad, we got in depth there.
Man, some trip.
Oh man, I didn't want to. You could kind of, you visualize you were there, wouldn't you?
You would, man.
Yeah,
Honest to God,
yeah.
yeah, you definitely would. Yeah. And like, what I couldn't believe about it is like genuinely, it's not half as expensive as I thought it was going to be, man.
$5,000 around,
Yeah.
like no messing. Wouldn't you go close to that in 2 weeks in a fucking sun holiday?
You would. You would.
I know,
You would.
do you know what I mean?
You would. You're 100%. You would definitely. Yeah.
Drinking beer and swimming. Why would you be? Up a fucking mountain chasing deer.
Chasing deer. Fucking none of that relaxation.
Yeah,
shite.
shite.
Honest to fucking- and we're not fucking actually joking here.
No, that is the fucking weird thing
That's
about it,
the
man.
weird fucking thing about it. Some fucking trip all the time.
Oh, deadly. Look, we hope you really enjoyed that, lads. I think we extended the podcast because I know there was loads of people
Yeah.
asking, inquisitive of being hunting abroad.
Yes.
I know we're talking to Matt about hunting abroad as well and stuff.
Yes.
So it's good to give people a little bit of insight, I think. And I know we went a little bit longer than we normally do, but I think hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they'll know from start to finish kind of what's
Exactly,
involved
yeah,
and some of
yeah.
the gear, like, which I didn't know. And there was stuff there like I wouldn't have even thought. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to do this trip in the morning, but like there's stuff there now I've definitely taken from that, and I've went, fuck, I wouldn't have even thought of bringing that.
Absolutely.
Like an antibiotic. I never
Yeah.
would have fucking thought. You know what I mean?
Imodium, stuff like that.
Imodium, man. For the
That's
love.
probably one of the, you fucking need that.
Yeah.
The steri strips maybe for stitching.
Yeah,
Do
stuff
you know what I
like
mean?
that. Yeah, especially when you're out there, like you're not
Yeah,
going to be
you're-
down the road to the chemist.
No,
like.
you're a fucking long way from home.
Yeah, honest to fuck, lad. Yeah, it's something different. But that was Stevie, and we're going to keep in touch with him, and if he's allowed to go on any more trips, and
we can document it from.
yeah, hopefully we get to go now before he gets to go out.
Yeah,
again.
honest to
that's
God.
only fucking fair. That's only fucking fair. Come here. Do you know what time it is?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for a little thing we like to call Let's Talk Gear. Anthony Grogan, we're back, man.
We're talking gear. What do we have on the
Talking
the
gear,
podcast
lads.
this
Well,
week?
on our Let's Talk Gear, which is our third ever segment, we have the Infiray Fh35r, which was given to us from Highland Outdoors Ireland. Dom gave us this and wanted us to have a go at this and see what we thought.
What's your first impressions, Brenny?
First impressions, man, is I love, and I've spoke about this before, I absolutely love the functionality of it. It's just so, all the
It's
buttons.
compact.
It's compact. All the buttons are in the right places. It's very, very easy to use. It's, I suppose, it is more or less ambidextrous. You can switch it around if needs be. Comes with additional batteries. It's not one internal battery. It's a couple of batteries that you can charge. So I really love it, man. Honest to God, I think bang for buck. It's expensive, but they're all expensive. It's no more expensive than any other thermal that's out there. Honestly, man, you've had a look through it as well.
I've had, yeah, very impressive. I think the thing I liked about it was built-in rangefinder in that one.
Yes, correct.
She has the Wi-Fi as well.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
And obviously, look, you've predominantly trialed it over the last 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
She does exactly what it says in the tin.
Yeah.
Good image quality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yours, the reds and the blues really pop on the Infiray, I found.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so and again, I think the new model you were saying, the cap, your little trick. That
Yes,
listening to you.
that's the only, I suppose, if there was a down pint in it, that's the only thing I would have liked to have said. As I've said before, I just love if when you open up your cap or your lens cover that it comes on, and in fairness, they're all over that. The newer model, that is the way that it works.
Yeah.
When you open that, if you're on standby mode, once you open that, bang, instantly you're on. and with this one as well, in fairness, when you hit the button, if you're on standby mode, and you hit your function or your mode button instantly, without any delay, you're back up and running.
That's good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's very compact. I think I like the flat design. You know, it kind of fits well in the hand, almost like a set of binos.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Half bino
or a half bino. Yeah.
Adjustable eyepiece as well. So again, for left and right viewing.
Yep.
And I think as well, Bernie, if they correct that cap thing, they've a good machine on their hands.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah. I absolutely love the focus. The like we saw for people that can't see it, and of course we will be doing a few videos and stuff on this. For people that can't see it, when it's held in your hand, when it's held, you know, you've a grasp of it on your hand. Next to your thumb, then is a small little turn, a little knob, I suppose, little knob that you can turn clockwise or anti-clockwise, a small little wheel, I suppose, and that is your focus, I suppose. So when you're on an object and you want to focus it, just by reaching across, you can turn it up or down and focus in your eye, and then you have the forward focus, which will just, I suppose, fine tunes it that little bit. But yeah, the quality is absolutely excellent. I have to say.
Can I be a little bit critical?
Yeah.
And just again, can I just have a peep at that just for 1 second?
You can, absolutely, yeah.
Sorry, we're just doing this thing.
Yeah.
Again, I know what you're saying. You can use it left and right, but again, the grip is, see that grip there on the right hand side of it.
Yep. Yeah.
I would have loved if they just brought that to the left hand side.
To the left hand side,
and then put the buttons in the middle, and then you know you've the left and right. I think that is predominantly a right-handed.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
You
can use it there, but like again, that'd be just I wouldn't take a whole pile to do that now.
It could be available in that function that's left and right-handed function, I suppose. But again, that's kind of one of the older models. And there's
a new model coming out.
Yeah, they've a couple of new models out, I think, since that.
Okay.
Now, but yeah, definitely, I think.
But no, nice light machine as well.
Lovely, yeah. I tested, I said, the rangefinder on it. Like it's deadly accurate. Like I kind of, I was kind of like, is this a rough estimation or thereabouts? It's incredibly accurate.
And that's a really handy, again, because some of them don't come with that.
Yeah.
So again, you're glassing, you're getting, you're on your target, and quite quickly you can, dial in the distance away. So I think that's a really cool addition. And again, price range, Bernie, on this machine?
I think now I'll have to double check. I think they're in around, say they're over, I think they're a little bit over 3.5, I think, or they're somewhere there.
So again, they're competitive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And look, it's a lot of money, but like this, the range again, what are we looking at?
The range, I'd say on them to be I'd say easily, to say your viewable range on that and your range finders, it'd be good up to 600 meters, I'd say, anyway.
Yeah,
probably more, to be fair.
She probably
from where we've a bit more testing to do in it, but from what I can see anyway, definitely, we've spotted forestry distances over 600 yards, and
no problem to it.
No problem to it at all. Yeah.
Again, there's the ease of focus. Again, I like that.
Yeah.
You have your hand on the machine, you can use your front finger to kind of semi on the main focus on the top of the unit.
Yes.
And again, she's built in Wi-Fi as well, so it records straight to the phone
instantly, like all your firmware updates, any of your firmware updates, software updates, any of that sort of stuff is literally as simple as that. You just go online and through the app, and you can be all uploaded,
And the app is pretty easy to use as well.
Oh, jeez, it is now. In fairness, if I can use it, it's not too bad.
Good stuff.
Yes, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Again, look, the out of 10, Brenny, then.
Yeah, well, like I was kind of thinking about this. I would be kind of struggling a bit now, to be honest with you, to knock it on anything if I was to not, like, we've spoke about this before, but just trying to if there was to find one thing in particular that.
I suppose
it's tough,
being ultra critical as we probably are.
Yeah.
The lens cap again will be on the newer model, but just on this particular model,
yes,
the lens cap. What would you say? Ignition is not on this model.
Yes.
And also the left and right thing. I'd like it Now that'd be just me, man.
Yeah.
Just that little, because there's a lovely soft grip on the right hand, but for the left you're kind of overshooting. And it would be, I think it'd be very easy to make that an ambidextrous model.
God, yeah, definitely, yeah, it would. No, in fairness, yeah, it wouldn't be a big job to do it now at all. In fairness, but I suppose it's one of those things like we've spoke about before. You know, not everyone is going to probably spend that kind of money on you know, that piece of gear. But if you like, I'll put it to you this way: if you are going to spend the kind of money on something like that, I think it's hard bet. I honestly do think it's hard bet, you know. So price wise now, I could be open to correction on that. I could be completely wrong on that. They're showing them online in various options and stuff. So anywhere between probably, you know, 2-7 up with some of it, depending on what function.
Built-in rangefinders, built-in Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Support network as well. I do want to mention as well, I haven't talked to a few people, the Infiray support is supposed to be fantastic, whereas, you know, if there's an issue with an item, you send it off, it's sorted or replaced straight away.
So probably considering there's a new model coming out, with the couple of upgrades we spoke about, this particular unit, would you give her 8.5? 9?
Definitely, I give it 8.5. I give it 8.5. Yeah, there's nothing. I a couple of little tweaks to say with the on-off switch on it. On the lens is probably the only really thing that I could knock it on. To be honest with you, yeah, exactly.
And again, my piece would be the left and right. So that I think 8.5, 9 would be a fair.
It'd be a fair.
And considering I can't wait to see the new model as well.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
But very compact and very lightweight, and I think user friendly. I think, you know. Yeah,
and like I think it kind of, when it goes hand in hand, a lot of lads will be kind of saying, well, would you just put it on a scope or would you go for the handheld? If I was spending that money, I would probably go for the handheld myself any day of the week, because
definitely,
you know, I think if you have a thermal, like I would use a thermal spotter, and I did use an infrared scope. Like we've used that a couple of times now, and it's been very successful. You know,
the only failing of that combination is obviously in the fog, but I think for user friendliness and you're spotting with this, and you're taking your shot with the other. I just don't think you can beat that.
No, definitely. It's like you seen us the first night we went out 5. Like, when's the last time we went out and we got 5?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, obviously, if you have a thermal spotter and a thermal scope, that'd be the ideal. But then
you're up in big money.
10 grand for your rig.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I think this is a very good, and obviously Infiray, as well as all the other brands, have the entry level, you know, so you don't have to go straight in for the
exactly. There is cheaper models out there. There's more expensive one. It all depends on the budget you have and what you want to get. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
so I presume they've you know, smaller models there, starting underneath the grand, right the way up to through the models up to your 3.5 plus, probably. You know.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
But look, serious piece of kit.
Serious bit of kit, man. Yeah, it's. I think it's available probably anywhere. Any of the Highland Outdoors stockists will
still have these in stock.
Infiray, absolutely.
And thank you very much to the guys down in Highland Outdoors. The guys have been very generous in giving us these things to test. We get, again, I'd love to see this just in some different conditions. We've had some nice conditions for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to test it again.
Hopefully we'll get a little bit of fog and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I have a couple of pictures that I did take the last night we were out, just a couple of image captures and some of the different colours. So we'll throw that up on our Facebook and our Instagrams, and you can have a look and stuff and see, and you'll see how clear they are, you know.
Deadly stuff. So that concludes our third
episode of our Let's Talk Gear. Yeah, exactly, man. That was we have a couple of people wanting us to test a couple of bits and pieces, so we'll suss it out. We don't have a definitive, just waiting on shipping on a few bits and pieces for what's going to be coming up on our next week's one. But
we'll let you know in due course. We've a week or so to go, and we'll have no doubt a few bits to chat about.
Absolutely. Quickly before we go, plans, are you getting out anywhere this weekend for a shot or a
I'm heading west, Bernie, this weekend. I've had a fucking nightmare of a couple of weeks there, just the last 2 weeks with the lead up to the not a nightmare, I don't mean that, but just busy. So heading down to Galway for the weekend.
Nice.
And I might get out, do a bit of fishing maybe, you know.
Nice, yeah.
The club meeting tomorrow night. and there's a horrendous amount of work to be done there. So
Okay.
doing all the
yeah.
membership, and we've out boxes to go up, and just a fucking lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yourself?
I'm hoping maybe Sunday if I get a chance. Need to organise some stuff. I'm away now for a couple of days, but Sunday if we get a chance, I'm going to head west myself, and after the infamous salmon. That's on the menu, I think. Yeah.
Look, we'll be keeping in touch over the next couple of days anyway.
Exactly right. 100%. We've been here. It is now 11:05. People think, gosh, I might just start a podcast. It's 11:05. I've been sitting in this seat since about 6 o'clock this evening, getting a few bits and pieces sorted.
Yeah.
So.
And my arse is sore as well. So
exactly. Yeah. On that note, I think we will wrap it up.
Over and out, Brenny.
Episode 34 in the bag. Have a good weekend, everyone that's heading out. Be safe, and keep us posted if you're doing any fishing or hunting or X, Y, or Z.
Over and out, guys.
Take it easy.